The story begins with our hero inside a solemn temple which he has never come across before. What's interesting to him is that it is filled with the fragrance of flowers, which is not what he had expected. However, the real sight is in front of his eyes, as we see a cute and curvy babe bowing down to him and asking him to teach her the ways of life. Actually, she even goes on to give us specifics by saying she wishes to learn the art of intrusive thoughts and naughty activities. Before we understand how to sign up for this kind of religion, we are taken to a flashback where our hero has just woken up. He realizes that he is now in a different world, which confuses him. As far as he remembers, he was busy with the latest R18 release like any other man of culture. After that, he should have gone to bed, so he wonders if he is actually stuck inside some dream. However, he finds the realism of this dream to be quite amazing, as he checks out some of the flowers. Eventually, he wonders if he has indeed been summoned to another world. He argues with himself about such things not existing, but then he hears the voice of a babe. She welcomes our hero, whose name is finally revealed to be Kasaka Itsuki, to the sage country of Hinomoto. Kasaka hears her voice from above, so he looks up to find a massive, curvy babe who is in her birthday suit. Our hero comments on how big she is in general, which also means that her pillows would be a national treasure. After he snaps out of his intrusive thoughts, Kasaka asks if he has indeed been brought to another world. The giant babe introduces herself as the goddess of the four flowers and also says that she is the mother of the people of Meroa, which is the capital of flowers. It turns out that Meroa is a sacred city where men are not allowed, which means that our hero is the only male who has been allowed into this territory. It's actually awesome, and every other boy out there would be begging for it to be him instead of Kasaka. However, our hero is still a bit confused, so he asks the goddess why she has chosen him in particular. After all, he is just a standard boy with shady thoughts. But then the goddess reveals that she has summoned him here for a very unique type of mission. Upon hearing this, Kasaka immediately says no, because he has seen enough anime and read enough manga comics to know that missions usually require the hero to put his life on the line. He can already imagine the goddess telling him to defeat the Demon King. But that is no task for an ordinary person like Kasaka. The goddess reassures him that this mission is nothing of the sort, and there is no danger involved at all. As a matter of fact, all he needs to do is educate her children. Hearing this puts Kasaka more at ease, and then the giant babe tells him that if he completes his mission successfully, then he will be sent back to his original world, and that too with a reward. Kasaka is now very interested in this reward, especially after the goddess tells him that he can have whatever he wishes for. Our hero immediately bows down in gratitude and asks for an encounter of the shady kind with a cute and curvy girl. The goddess comments on how bold our hero, but she clearly has no idea about the men of culture living in his original world. She states that once Kasaka has completed his mission, his wish will be granted, but then he asks the goddess to be flexible with his request as he does not want a babe to just randomly sprout in front of him. Kasaka then thinks to himself about how lucky he is to have encountered a goddess who would grant him such a shady wish. He can finally live his life just like the manga and anime he used to consume. Kasaka is already painting a story in his head about a love comedy with a library princess or an unattainable beauty, but he needs to leave the dreaming alone for now and focus on the task at hand. The goddess says that they can talk about the details of his wish after all four of her people are there together. Kasaka does not understand what she means by this, but before he knows it, the doors creak open and cute girl enters through it. Her name is Rose, and she greets the goddess as her lord, asking what she requires from her today. The goddess also greets her, but Rose wonders where Lily and the others are. It seems that she is the first one here, but then she notices Kasaka and gets shocked because she is in the presence of a man. She wastes no time in calling our hero a jerk, and is in disbelief because men are not allowed in this territory. Rose asks Kasaka how he was able to sneak in here, but he maintains that he has done no such thing. Suddenly, Rose hears someone calling out to her from behind, and it happens to be another one of the goddess's followers. She is carrying a girl named Talia, whom she claims has overslept, which is why she had to be brought here this way today. Of course, Talia might be a bit heavy to carry for the girl, whose name is revealed to be Leina. She asks Rose for a helping hand, but then Rose asks her to come towards her immediately. Leina does not understand the haste behind Rose's behavior, so she asks her why she is being so loud. That's when Leina notices Kasaka in front of her, and she panics as well. As a matter of fact, she actually uses Talia as a shield to protect herself from our hero, although that does raise questions about her own ethics. Kasaka can't believe that Leina is hiding from him as if she is some kind of cornered animal, but then he also points out that she is using a human shield, so she might not be as innocent as it seems. That's pretty much the case with every girl nowadays, and then we see Talia waking up in total amazement. She is actually curious to see a man in this place, but her sudden waking up spooks out Kasaka. Leina can't believe that Talia was awake this entire time, although she does get thanked for carrying the babe on her shoulders. Now, Talia checks out Kasaka and starts to act shady around him. She comments that the body of men are indeed different from the bodies of women, but she is a bit too close to our hero for his liking, so he lets her know that he is trying to suppress his inner beast. Talia is a bit confused, and in all the wrong ways because she wonders if she is supposed to wear her clothes properly in front of a man. After all, she is in her nightwear, which she does find a lot more comfortable than the nun clothes she is given by her folks. Rose scolds Talia and tells her to be more modest in front of people, especially now that there is a man in front of them. Kasaka can see 3 girls right now, and as per what the goddess told him, there is one more person remaining. At that very moment, Sister Lily arrives, and she is the same girl we saw earlier who was praying to Kasaka, asking him to teach her the ways of intrusive thoughts and shady activities. Lily greets the goddess with a cute face, and she immediately catches our hero's eyes. Lily also notices him, and she is blushing almost subconsciously while looking at him. Unlike the other girls, she is extremely polite and wishes Kasaka a good afternoon, which takes him totally by surprise. She then asks our hero what worries concern him today, because she feels that he is some kind of lost sheep. Rose can't understand why Lily is being so carefree in front of a man, but now that all the 4 girls are here, the goddess is asked why Kasaka is here in a land that bans men. The goddess tells her girls that Kasaka is a sage from a different world, and he has been brought here for a very specific mission. It's at this moment that Lily realizes that our hero is a man, and she asks Rose for confirmation, indicating that she had indeed thought of Kasaka as a sheep earlier. The nun girls want to know what kind of mission Kasaka has been called for, so the goddess states that it is to do with her succession. The girls are shocked to hear this, as is Kasaka, who wants to know exactly what the goddess is talking about. Lily explains that when the goddess completes her term of 1,000 years, she chooses a female saint who will succeed her and become the next goddess while she herself turns back into a human. The goddess reveals that these 4 girls are her candidates for succession, and she has chosen them because they are filled with talent and renounced desires. As holy sisters, they have been diligently trained to be pure, which may be wonderful, but that alone is not enough in the eyes of the goddess. The nun girls want to know what else is needed, and Kasaka is just standing there listening to them. The goddess says that there are several qualifications that are needed to reach her current level, with one of them being the purity of a saint girl who is devoted to her people. However, there is a guideline that contradicts that very statement, which is that the goddess must also be a mature woman, since she is going to be the mother who bears and increases the population of the City of Flowers. Only a nun girl with these qualities can become the next goddess. This means that the holy sisters will need to learn the unholy taboos that they have stayed away from their whole lives. These are the teachings that they will require to learn right now, which is why Kasaka has been summoned here as well. In other words, our hero is supposed to provide shady guidance to all the holy sisters, thus turning them unholy. This is a massive shocker, not just to the girls, but also to Kasaka, who had no idea he would be required to impart such knowledge. The goddess repeats that it is necessary for her nun girls to learn shady things and become masters of intrusive thoughts. This is Kasaka's mission, but he is at a loss because he himself is a loser back in the real world where real women exist. He has no experience at all when it comes to practical matters, so even if there is an amazing reward waiting for him at the end of this, he wonders what an untouched boy like him will be able to do to 4 holy nuns. Lily asks the goddess why such a thing is needed, because after all, the holy sisters have been taught to avoid such things their whole lives. Purity and innocence has always been their focus, which the goddess agrees to, but maintains that things are different when it comes to the succession of a goddess. A more mature girl would be required for the role because of multiple reasons. Lily wants to know what these reasons are, so the goddess has no other choice but to explain the required attributes to be in her position. This involves being immoral, lewd, and the capacity to be shady for a longer period of time, and more often. Only such a person has the capacity to support the prosperity of the people in this world. Kasaka has understood the game plan now, because only a lewd goddess will have the ability to give birth to many babies. The holy sisters stand in amazement over this revelation, and Lily seems to have gotten her answer. Our hero is prompted to ask a very important question, which is that if these are the qualifications for a goddess, then it implies that the current one is also lewd. Rose scolds him for being rude to the goddess even though he might be a sage, which he most definitely is not. The goddess avoids the question, which all but confirms that she too is a lewd woman who would get along well with the men of culture on earth. The goddess eventually admits that in order for prosperity to prevail, it does not matter if the rules have to be broken. Lily feels enlightened by this chat, and Kasaka realizes that the atmosphere is quite serious over here, but at the same time it's shady activities that are being discussed over here, so he does not know how he should proceed over here. Now, Rose tells the goddess that she understands the importance of prosperity, but at the same time, she has some reservations about the method to be used. After all, to get freaky with a man you have just met today is a bit of an exaggeration. Kasaka points out that saying such things is usually his job, because he seems to believe in attaching and love and romance before extending them to lewd acts. Of course, this rich coming from a boy who likes to engage in visual media that is the exact opposite of what he has just said. Even Rose looks at him suspiciously because she can smell his BS from a mile away. Out of the blue, Talia decides to volunteer for this act, which makes our hero even more nervous. She feels that it is an unknown experience, so she is sure to find it delightful. She then turns to Leina and asks her if she would like to watch, but she shakes her head aggressively to suggest she isn't the type who likes such things. However, the goddess looks at Lily and tells her that she will be the one to receive the guidance first, as she is the most devoted sister out of all. Talia does not like this, as she would have liked to be Kasaka's first experiment. But since this is the will of the goddess, she will not challenge the decision. Rose pleads with the goddess to spare Lily because she is a bit too innocent for such shady acts. After all, it was only until recently that she thought of men as creatures of fantasy. Keeping that in mind, such an act may be a bit too much for her to handle. However, Lily herself tells Rose that it is fine because she has been studying about men ever since she learned about their existence. However, the Holy Sister believes that men are just like wolves, which is most definitely not the case. As a matter of fact, some women of Earth believe that men are more dangerous than bears, but that is probably because they have been spending way too much time out of the kitchen. Lily then reveals that Leina had helped her understand men a lot, even lending her some books to guide her on the matter. This causes Leina to blush and Talia to look at her with shady eyes. Now, Lily declares that if this is to be done for the common good, then she will be more than happy to present herself to our hero. It is at this moment when we are brought back to the first scene where Lily was asking Kasaka to teach her naughty things. This is a dream come true for most men who are straight in the head, but our hero is feeling very uncomfortable, probably due to all the immense pressure that has been placed on him. He then reminds us all that he too is inexperienced when it comes to practical matters. All he has is the knowledge he has compiled from visiting certain channels that can only be accessed on incognito mode. Lily may have accepted her fate, but she is seen trembling, which means that she too is going to have a hard time experiencing this. Seeing the innocent nun in this situation makes our hero think about how a holy sister is willingly allowing herself to become unholy at his hands. With such a privilege, it is only fair for him to have decent manners and honor her request. Eventually, Kasaka speaks out loud that, even if he does not know anything, he will do his best to help out Lily. After all, fooling around with a beautiful woman is all he could have asked for. On that note, the goddess tells Kasaka that they should begin with the first theme, which happens to be that of climax. Normally, this is something that only advanced level players can achieve, but our hero has been given this task rather abruptly. Basically, he will need to guide Lily's kitty cat to release her water in front of everyone right here. Right now, there's a seat prepared for the Holy Sister as well, so she prepares herself and gets seated. Rose tries to cheer her up by saying they will all be watching, but that isn't exactly supposed to be motivation. Of course, Kasaka did not expect for things to get underway over here itself, but then he is able to calm himself down. He reminds himself that he will just need to remember whatever he has learned till now, and use that knowledge to full effect. Kasaka sets his sights on making sure that Lily gets the experience of a lifetime, and then he also considers the reward that will be awaiting him at the end of this exercise. Of course, thinking about this in itself is rather lewd, so our hero figured that he might as well get down to business. To attack the pillows first up would be an obvious choice, but to develop that area would take too much time, so he figures attacking the kitty would be his best bet. Kasaka goes ahead and places his hand where no man has done before, so Lily tells him this is a bit too unholy. However, he goes ahead without a care in the world by activating the trump within him. Lily lets out a moan of discomfort, so Kasaka asks her if he has hurt her. She says it's all good and tells him to continue whatever it was that he was doing. This makes him wonder what he was doing till now, which means that Kasaka is basically winging it. He then questions if this is the right thing for him to do. There could be an alternate method of action too, but then the goddess comments that she has witnessed a miracle. Kasaka is confused, but the goddess states that she is feeling nostalgic because she had seen the exact same thing when she had to become a goddess. In the past, all the sage who had come over here would use the god's miracles to provide guidance to the holy sisters. Now that she has seen the same thing in Kasaka, she will bestow the same blessing upon him as well. With that, the goddess offers her foot to Kasaka, But he is not Tarantino, so he simply accepts the miracle of God which she has offered to him. This miracle will unlock the door to all of Kasaka's memories, which means that he himself did not have access to all the information he had gathered as a man of culture. The miracle instantly transports him to the library of godly techniques, and then the door opens up to allow our hero inside. Over here, Kasaka notices all types of books covering various aspects of intrusive thoughts and unspeakable acts. He can understand instinctively that this is the collective knowledge he has gathered from all the years of his consuming questionable content. The space is so big that it can fit in a population of its own, but we should not expect anything less from our hero. Despite the vast amount of knowledge, Kasaka is still confused as to where he should begin because it's very cluttered at the moment. There are cute girls moving around everywhere as well, so they serve as an obvious distraction. Suddenly, a bunny girl shows up with a disc for Kasaka, which could also imply he has a thing for this kind of costume. Upon touching this disc, our hero is blessed with a ton of knowledge regarding godly techniques. The blessing is so powerful that Kasaka might just become a god himself. But then he is brought back to reality by Lily, who asks him if he is all right. He casually shrugs it off as nothing important, but we all know that he is now a different man. This is because he has realized that the miracle can draw out his shady memories, which actually makes the name a bit suspicious. Before the techniques, there was something else that Kasaka remembered, and then he turns his attention to Lily. He decides that he will guide her through her first time, so that she can be made to feel easy about it. He apologizes to her for taking so much time, and then he says that he will only focus on her for now. He asks for another chance, and she readily agrees to give it to him. So, the first step would be to have some kind of physical contact. So Kasaka decides to slowly place his hand on Lily's cheek. He begins to gently stroke her cheek so that she can get used to the sensations. As he had expected, Lily is extremely cute and has really soft skin as well. However, her must not lose sight of his mission, so he shakes his head and focuses on the task at hand. Next up are the beloved pillows, which Kasaka wastes no time in attending to. He tells Lily that he has never done such a thing before, so he will try to perform his best. This makes the holy sister giggle and blush, because it's the first time for the both of them. Kasaka also nods along, but he realizes that Lily is starting to flip over to the dark side. Rose can't believe what she is seeing because Lily's expression has softened, indicating that she is finding this experience pleasurable. After the pillows, it's time for the kitty cat. So Kasaka places himself behind Lily and reassures her that it won't be painful this time. As our hero showcases his godly technique, the voices he brings out begin to attract Leina and Talia as well. Rose worries for Lily a little, but it doesn't look like she's in trouble. Kasaka unleashes his secret finger blast technique, and it causes Lily's body to react rather strongly. Rose asks her if she is okay, but the holy sister has finally turned into an unholy babe. Lily calls out to God and says sorry to him because of what she is experiencing, and then she ultimately gives in to our hero's technique. An intense release follows, and Lily is shocked to see the amount of kitty water she has unleashed upon achieving the finish. After she is done, Lily prays to God and asks for forgiveness because she has turned herself over to matters of the flesh. Rose can't believe what she is seeing, because Lily has always been an innocent girl to her. Our hero, on the other hand, takes a look at his fingers to appreciate the art he has just created. The goddess is even more pleased by what she has just witnessed, so she tells Kasaka that he should continue with his methods and teach everything he knows to all the holy sisters. After all, the eventual mission is to cultivate lewd maidens, which leads Kasaka to declare that he now has a new purpose in life. It's pure, beautiful but also depraved, which is a rather odd combination. What he has done to Lily is only the beginning of his life together with these sisters, so he is in for a very wild ride ahead. As the goddess and the other sisters still react to what they have just witnessed from Lily, Kasaka pats himself on the back because he has finally been able to do something with a cute and curvy girl. And what's better is that she is from another world. On top of that, he also managed to make her reach the ultimate finish, which is something that most men still struggle with in today's world. The goddess tells our hero that he is an impressive sage, and he possesses a unique talent for indulgence, which is just what she had expected. Kasaka is not too sure of the term, but the goddess says that he can think of it as the ability to captivate someone. Suddenly, something lights up in her palm, and she asks our hero to take it. As he receives this power, it transforms into some kind of ring which confuses him. The ring seems to be called the Book of Steinman, and it automatically fits into Kasaka's finger, much like Lily's kitty cat. The goddess tells him that the ring will activate on its own whenever the correct opportunity arises, and it will help him bestow further guidance upon the holy sisters, one of whom has already become unholy. Kasaka wants to know how many other teachings he will need to bestow, but the goddess tells him that she is honestly quite unclear of this herself. Basically, when the maidens reach maturity, the book's guidance should be technically complete, but this varies greatly based on each individual's differences and timing. The goddess then reveals that in her case, it took a grand total of 5 whole years for her to reach maturity. This comes as an absolute shocker for Kasaka, because 5 years of Shady teaching is a bit too much for anyone. Now, the goddess turns to her holy sisters and tells them that many more teachings will come in the future, and there will be quite a few sleepless nights ahead of them. However, they must remember that they are sisters of the flower capital, so they must continue to live pure and beautiful lives. The goddess hopes that all of these girls blossom together as one beautiful flower once they are done with all their Shady teachings. On that note, everyone leaves the presence of the goddess, with Kasaka still thinking about the assumed time duration of 5 years. His main concern is that he might be declared missing in Japan, and he also has a sister he has to take care of back there. As per what the goddess said, there could be a way to shorten the time, but for that to happen, he will need to be a lot more active when it comes to guiding the sisters. The problem is that no matter how shady a man might get, there is a limit to the amount of intrusive thoughts he can get, and his primary opponent in this case will be his post-walnut clarity if he ever decides to unleash his own elephant in front of these nuns. It will be quite a task for him to be able to get the job done, and it does not matter how curvy these girls might be. Kasaka then calms himself down by saying there must be a lot of other men right now who must be commenting that it should have been them in his place, so he must honor their wishes and do them proud by fulfilling this mission. After all, a tough task to one man is an endless reward to another. He gets lost in his train of thought, and then he is suddenly brought back to reality when Talia apologizes for making him walk a lot. Kasaka says it's fine because he is in their care after all in this world. She then reveals that they have arrived at the Sisters' Academy where a lot of other holy nun girls are staying. Since men are not allowed over here, the girls will need to make sure that Kasaka is hidden from everyone else's view. Our hero says sorry for causing the girls so much trouble, but Rose says it's all right. She then asks Kasaka if he is also a man of God, because apologizing without reason is an odd thing in her mind. Kasaka wonders if Rose is the one who is doing all the covering up for him to keep him hidden in this massive castle. And then the girls arrive at the sage's room. It's a massive space, and none of the holy sisters knew such a place existed till now. The interiors have been arranged specifically for the sage, because he has the most important task of them all. Kasaka thinks that his bed is a bit too big, but that is only because he has never seen such a bed before in his life. He hears some knocking on the door, but it only happens to be Lily, who was spending time getting ready after her extremely intense release. Rose tells her it's fine because even they have only just arrived now, but Talia teases her by saying it would definitely take a lot of time to clean up after putting on a show like Lily just did. Kasaka tells her not to make Lily feel awkward, but Talia says that there is nothing to feel embarrassed about. After all, each and every one of the Holy Sisters will have to experience this sensation, so it's not like they can avoid it. Talia then looks at Rose and asks her if she is excited for her turn, but Rose says that the only one looking forward to such an experience is Talia. Lily asks what will happen from now on because nobody knows the exact guidance of the ring. Leina also wonders if there are any rules attached to this, and then Kasaka's ring clicks instantly. A voice tells everyone that the Holy Book will provide tasks at the appropriate timings, and the Holy Maidens should give their best while studying with the sage. Kasaka is then told that his tasks will only get completed once he satisfies the Holy Sisters. Talia is impressed by this deep voice and wonders if the guidance actually has a physical body. Rose, on the other hand, is a bit concerned because when the voice said the word satisfy, all she could think of was what happened to Lily. This can only mean one thing, which is that Kasaka will have to endlessly satisfy all the Holy Sisters and make them truly unholy. This is actually the easy part because Kasaka then remembers that the goddess had asked him to maintain purity during these acts as well. This means that he himself cannot unleash his elephant upon these girls, which makes his job a whole lot tougher than anyone would have imagined. Our hero tries to convince us that he would only prefer to do shady things with a cute girl who loves him, but we all know that's a lie. He even admits that he is not sure how much he will be able to resist and maintain his sanity after doing so many tasks. He managed to keep his cool with Lily, but if this were to happen regularly and with 3 other girls, then he will truly need to be a god to keep his elephant calm. Suddenly, Rose says that she can't accept this, which makes all the other girls question her. She states that just because Kasaka is a sage, it does not mean that the Holy Sisters are safe around him. The girls argue that he did treat Lily gently while giving her the time of her life, and then Talia asks Rose if she is going to defy the wishes of the goddess. Rose argues that is not the case at all. It's just that she has only seen men as vicious beasts, like wolves up until today. She has been working very hard to live beautifully and purely as a sister, but for her to suddenly become shady and unholy is a very difficult ask. After all, she has been programmed to hate men, so she can't easily accept getting violated by Kasaka. Rose is going through a lot, so she walks away, stating that she needs to be alone and cool her head. Our hero actually agrees with Rose because he can understand it from her perspective. Lily worries about Rose, and Talia adds that Rose's seriousness is one of her good points, so it's only natural for her to be so confused. Talia then says that the other sisters should also take some time to organize their own thoughts, and they should continue this conversation the next day. Lily says that she will take care of Kasaka for today, so Talia sarcastically appreciates her efforts. Leina and Talia then bid farewell to Kasaka, after which Lily asks him if he would like to settle down now. She starts off by saying he will need dinner, a change of clothes, and a bath, but our hero asks her if she is really okay with all of this. She does not understand what he is talking about, so he reminds her of what Rose just said. It's not just about Rose, but for Lily to also be engaging in unspeakable acts with a strange man she has only just met has to be weird, especially because she is supposed to be a holy sister. However, she simply replies with a blushing smile, which is cute enough for Kasaka to be convinced. Now, Lily explains that she is confused as well, because the way she has lived until now and the future are completely different things. However, She does not doubt our hero at all because of what she experienced with him. Even though it was awkward and highly shady, she could sense that Kasaka was being earnest in his task and thinking only about her during the entire process. This made her realize that our hero is indeed a kind person, although she might change her mind after checking out his browser history. Anyway, Lily turns around and tells Kasaka that he is all right to her, and the smile she gives off is enough for any man's heart to skip a beat. Our hero is taken away by what Lily has just said, but he admits that he should not expect anything less from a holy sister. He then thanks Lily for her positive support, because it is making him feel more confident in himself. At this very moment, the ring activates again, and it tells Lily that she needs to get ready for the second task. Lily wonders what this guidance has to do with her, and then the ring mentions a rather unspeakable act which is to be performed on her kitty cat. Kasaka panics upon hearing what his tongue will be needed for, but Lily does not know what the word means. She asks our hero if he can read what the ring is showing, and he says yes, but he is unsure if he should do it to Lily. The holy sister asks what it is supposed to be, so Kasaka prepares for another awkward chat. He has to do it anyway, so he explains how this is a method to prepare the female body for the elephant's trunk while also being good enough to gush out a waterfall. Lily understands this, so she asks for further details, and this is when Kasaka reveals that it will involve his secret tongue twister 9000 technique. Upon hearing the involvement of the tongue, Lily freaks out because this would normally be considered unhygienic in her world. After all, her kitty is mainly used to going to the toilet, so such an act would be considered disgusting by any sense of the imagination. It actually goes on to show how sick and twisted the people of Earth really are. Of course, there is no time for Kasaka to explain that the hygiene is worth the risk, so he simply says that it will be fine for him to try this on Lily because she has just come out of a bath. He manages to reassure the holy sister into committing yet another unholy act, so he thinks to himself that he is really corrupting this nun girl. He apologizes to her for making her go through yet another experience, but he maintains that she will need to be prepared for another euphoric feeling. Of course, he too would love to taste some sweet nectar, but he must remember that he cannot betray Lily's trust. Since our hero does not want this to become an unpleasant memory for Lily, he decides to visit the Library of Godly Techniques once again for assistance. In the library, he comes across a video tutorial he had once watched back in Japan over the hopes of getting to use that technique someday. It did not come in handy in his own world, but it will finally be of use in this one. It also makes Kasaka wonder if this library is indeed filled with all his most embarrassing memories and actions. Anyway, it's time to get down to business, and that's exactly what our hero does to the unholy sister. Lily is a bit taken aback by his firm approach, but he remembers that he must treat her gently, just like he had done last time. After all, getting her in the mood is the most crucial thing, so Kasaka starts with some light teasing. It becomes a bit too much for Lily, especially after our hero slides it to the side to resume his feast. He comments that he is experiencing the real deal as Lily is a lot tighter than he had imagined. The kitty cat is so soft and squishy that Kasaka almost loses himself in a train of intrusive thoughts. However, he manages to snap back to his senses, and he resumes with his task. At first, Kasaka gets a bit carried away and carries out a spread, but this makes Lily a bit conscious, so he needs to calm himself down. Our hero knows that the tip of the tongue may be a bit much, so he unleashes his godly technique, which has inspired many other moves, such as the Hawk 2 Ultra 9000. As the session grows more intense, Lily comes to the realization that she is experiencing heaven right now. It's as if something soft is crawling into her and also performing a suction technique at the same time. She does realize that she is being violated by our hero, whom she has only just met today, and this is really embarrassing because he has already given her heaven once before. However, since this feels even better, she does not mind being treated to it. Kasaka notices that the general level of wetness is increasing rather drastically, which reminds him that sensitive areas are rather delicate for both men as well as women. Our hero wants to take it up a notch for the ultimate finish, so he decides to keep his tongue in its place while also unleashing his finger blaster at the same time. After all, when it comes to sweet and innocent girls, such techniques will breach their limits. What follows is Lily's ultimate experience, resulting in a massive waterfall erupting from her kitty cat. She trembles for a bit before realizing that what she has just experienced is the wildest thing ever. The ring stops glowing, so Kasaka can rest assured that he has completed yet another task. Lily still needs some time to collect herself, so she rests while panting. The unholy sister says that this felt really good, just like her previous time, but then she realizes that she has been spacing out due to the effects of Kasaka's godly technique. She states that she will now clean up and prepare for our hero's stay as soon as she can, but he points out something very important. Lily will need to either take a bath or at least bring in a towel, but she does not understand what Kasaka means by this. That's when he points out that it would not be very advisable to stay this way, considering that she has released enough kitty water to fill a bathtub. It causes her to become really embarrassed, and she continuously says sorry to our hero, although he maintains that such things can't be helped. Later, we move to the flower capital, known as Aramana, where Lily can be seen on her knees in prayer. She states that she almost overslept and missed her morning prayer routine due to her unforgettable experience with Kasaka. The unholy sister reminds herself that she must not get carried away by her intrusive thoughts because she still has a duty to perform. She tries her best to forget about the unspeakable things that were done to her yesterday, but it is of no use because it is way too memorable for her. As a matter of fact, she gets distracted from her prayers and blushes without any control. Lily tries her best to focus on praying, and that is when she notices something odd. One of the flowers next to her starts to blossom, and this makes her a bit curious. Some more flowers start to bloom in her presence, which is definitely a first for her. This is big news, so Lily goes ahead and tells her holy sisters about this. Kasaka is also at the breakfast table, and all of them are shocked to learn about this blooming story. Our hero wonders if this is some kind of superpower, but then Talia tells him that this is the power of miracles. Kasaka loses his train of thought while eating his bread loaf because it is a bit too tasty compared to the bread from his world. Talia knows this feeling and explains that the bread has been baked by a lady in the market who is really good at it. Rose tells Talia not to change the subject, so she states that this is nothing more than the same power as the goddess. These are obviously small glimpses of power, but the point remains that it proves the sisters are not serving their goddess for nothing. When it comes to Lily, this power is getting stronger now, so Kasaka states that it is a good thing. Talia agrees that it is definitely a good thing, but the problem for him is that it certainly proves the guidance theory as well. Basically, now the Holy Sisters have proof that our hero's shady activities have the power to turn them into the goddess. Talia says that if the sisters continue to do shady things with Kasaka, then they will surely achieve the final goal of becoming the goddess's successor. This might be a bit troublesome for Kasaka because he might be overworked due to popular demand now. Since Lily is already a step ahead, Talia does not want to lose to her. But she does not know that the unholy sister has already upgraded one more level after receiving the tongue twister 9000. Leina senses something odd, but then Kasaka asks if this competition will lead to a fight amongst the sisters in order to succeed the goddess. Talia says that there is nothing of the sort, so it reassures Kasaka that he will not be instrumental towards wreaking havoc. Rose adds that all of them are holy sisters, so they will sincerely face the trial, although it's hard to refer to Lily as holy now. Talia is surprised to hear this, because it means that Rose has gotten around to agreeing to doing shady things with Kasaka. Rose confirms this by stating sometimes you have got to do what you have got to do. She then gives Kasaka a taunting look and tells him that her words do not mean she has started to trust him yet. However, she does say that she looks forward to working with him. She is clearly blushing, so she thanks everyone for the meal and runs away shyly. Our hero guesses that he will now need to earn Rose's trust, and Talia tells him that he is quick on the uptake. He tells her that he is still worried about the kinds of things he will need to do to the Holy Sisters, but things could be a lot worse. He could have been given Drake's target demographic, which would make things a whole lot worse. Lily laughs at Kasaka's statement, so Talia comments that she has become a lot more open than yesterday. She also tells Lily that she had heard of her getting more guidance after the other sisters left. Lily blushes a lot, but decides to own up to the fact that she did indeed give Kasaka a sweet and salty taste. She even confesses that the Tongue Twister 9000 was a lot more intense and felt a lot better than the first session. Talia is jealous of Lily for having so much fun, but she also finds it odd that the sessions are becoming more and more intense. If this is the case, then it means that the final act could involve the meeting of Kasaka's elephant with the sisters' kitties. If that is the case, the goddess asking the girls to maintain their purity does not make sense. Talia feels it's better to ask than wonder, so she also leaves the table and heads out. She takes a look at Leina and is surprised to see that she is feeling unwell. Leina says that she was just thinking about something else, but does not elaborate. With that, the meal is done and we move to Kasaka's room later on. He is quite bored because men can't walk around here freely, but at the same time, the sisters are taking care of him, so he should also repay the favor. So far, only Lily has been given more than satisfactory rewards for her efforts, so Kasaka wonders if he can prepare for the guidance of the other sisters by visiting the library of godly techniques for reference. However, this would not be any different from what men of culture do anyway, so it would be weird for Kasaka to do it. Suddenly, Leina knocks on his door, so he allows her inside and asks if she needs something. Leina says that she has a request for the sage. She says that she wants Kasaka to turn her into a mommy, and this leads to a bit of an awkward silence. Our hero asks Leina if she wants a baby from him, because that is essentially what she is asking from him. The Holy Sister panics and says that she was only talking about the goddess when she said mommy. She's not wrong there because such a curvy figure deserves that kind of term. As Leina talks about wanting to become like the goddess, Kasaka's ring glows again, which means it's guidance time. The voice says that the task for Leina would be pillow feeding, which is rather shocking to Kasaka. He comments that this is not a task, but a shady desire because pillow feeding can only be possible if the pillow owner has a baby. At this very moment, something starts happening to Leina's pillows as some moisture forms on them. Kasaka asks her what's wrong, and she says that her own pillows are hurting now. It causes her to let them out to breathe, and the sight is more than enough to stun our hero. He does not understand how guidance works over here, because Leina is most definitely not a mommy. He then tells her to be more careful around him because he is not immune to intrusive thoughts. Kasaka walks himself through the science behind pillows hurting and letting out milk, which is something that his sister taught him, hopefully not in Alabama. Our hero tells Leina that he wants to try a massage first to relieve her pain, but it's a bit embarrassing, so he wants her to trust him on this. She does as he asks and presents her pillows in all their milky glory. Now, it's time for Kasaka to revisit the library of godly techniques for reference, and he also remembers watching series on comic guzzlers rizzing up everyone's moms. Since our hero has such an iconic idol, his pillow massage works perfectly fine on Leina. Her pillows are also massive, almost like lilies, which Kasaka had thought was impossible. He asks Leina if it hurts, but she says that it feels really good to her. Our hero wonders why she is being so defenseless against him, especially because she is supposed to be a holy sister. Anyway, he continues with his massage, which is good enough to give Leina a taste of heaven. Kasaka unleashes his finger press technique and it works wonders on Leina, much to her delight. Our hero also loses himself to his intrusive thoughts for a bit, but then he comes back to his senses and asks Leina if her pillows still hurt. She says that the pain is completely gone now, which means that the massage was a success. However, the ring is still glowing, which means that the guidance needs to be completed. Leina also realizes that she must yield to the goddess, so she presents her pillows to our hero and asks him to do whatever he needs to do. Things have indeed become very serious, but Kasaka can't bail out now. Before we dive deeper into this madness, we are taken to a brief flashback where we see Leina as a little child. She can't sleep, so she goes to the goddess for warmth, and we can see that they share a strong bond. The goddess offers her palm to Leina, and she finds comfort in it. Leina never had a family as such, so she found this palm to be like the warmth of a mom. It was from this moment onwards that she had decided even if she would remain small and unimpressive, she would still do her best to keep someone else warm, just like the goddess. She wants to become a big mommy, and we move back to the present on that note. Leina says that since she has a motherly feeling, she wants Kasaka to provide his baby tongue to her pillows. Our hero can notice that the twin peaks on top of Leina's massive pillows are much whiter with lesser pigment, probably because of all the milk coming out of them. Once again, intrusive thoughts drive him crazy, but he remembers that he must think of this as guidance and nothing else. With that, Kasaka proceeds to act like a baby in front of Leina's pillow milkers. The taste is a bit sweet, which he attributes to his nervousness, and his acts are making Leina's pillows feel a lot better. She realizes that this is what nursing a baby feels like, but that is not the vibe our hero wants to create. After all, the goal is to do shady things, and a mother feeding her baby is not shady. Kasaka wonders if he should try some other methods, but whatever he does only makes Leina laugh because of the tickles. This is not good at all for Kasaka because he will not be able to complete the guidance at this pace. He pulls out his big brain energy and remembers what Lily told him about Leina. She had mentioned that the mommy sister is knowledgeable about men, so this could help his approach. Kasaka then puts on a serious face and looks at Leina with a sense of gloom and tells her that she might not be aware of the situation. The mommy sister is a bit confused, but then Kasaka dials up the crazy by slamming his hand on the wall behind her. He then turns into a demon face and tells Leina that the person sucking on her massive pillows is not a baby but rather a man. The mommy nun feels scared upon seeing this threatening side of our hero, but then again, any man would turn into a demon after consuming such massive and soft pillows. Kasaka realizes that he has let his intrusive thoughts take over, so he tells himself that he will apologize to Leina after he is done violating her twin peaks. However, Kasaka does not want Leina to be laughing at such things because at the end of the day, these are shady activities he's doing to her. Leina apologizes for being so casual, but she says that this feels quite different to her. After all, shady sensation is supposed to be a bit fluffier and should concern other body parts as well. Kasaka realizes that Leina is right, because caregiving should not be mistaken for shoddiness. However, this also brings another important question to mind, so he asks Leina why she already knows so much about shady acts and intrusive thoughts. This makes her a bit nervous, so she stammers as she says that she has done this all by herself. Kasaka is not going to let this go easily, so he tells Leina that she will need other forms of stimulation to achieve the desired outcome. He tells her to spread her wings and then perform a solo session by herself. Leina is a bit shy at first, but then she remembers the curvy goddess and realizes that she must do this to become a worthy successor. What follows is extremely intrusive and not at all meant to be seen with your family, unless you are from Alabama. Leina's reactions to our hero's tongue twister 500 seem to be improving, so he continues with his efforts. She even goes on to reveal that Kasaka can bite her mountain peaks if he would like to, and he surely does not need a second invitation for that. The madness goes on for a little while longer, and then our hero stops all of a sudden. This is because he has achieved his goal, and Leina is one step closer to becoming a mother. At this very moment, though, Sister Lily shows up and asks Leina what's going on. Naturally, the curvy nun hides her face out of shame due to what she has just experienced. Kasaka says that he had to guide Leina for a task, but the results seem to have scared her a bit. Lily blushes and smiles upon hearing this, and she tells Kasaka that Leina is a bit different when compared to the other holy sisters. Whenever she feels embarrassed, she tends to shrink and hide, almost like a small and cute animal. Kasaka is actually surprised that a holy sister like Lily is now speaking so casually, but that's what happens when you experience the shady side. Lily tells our hero to be a bit patient with Leina, because she'll be back to normal once she sorts out her feelings. Now, Leina cutely shows her face by coming out of the pillow and tells our hero that even though this session was a bit of a failure in the middle of the process, she will do her best to become a shady mom. As a matter of fact, she will try to live up to the expectations of Ceres himself. Kasaka is glad to see the enthusiasm from Leina, so he smiles at her to let her know all is well. Lily is happy as well, because Leina does not seem to hate him after what he has just done to her. The holy sister then asks what a shady mom is supposed to be, but Kasaka says that only Ceres can answer that question for her. Now, we shift to the curvy goddess who has a visitor in the form of Sister Talia. The goddess asks her what she needs, so she says that she has a very important question. It is to do with what the goddess said about honoring the chastity of the nun girls. Talia realizes that honoring chastity is not necessarily the same as keeping chastity, because if it was, then the goddess would have clearly stated so. Talia knows there is another meaning to that statement, and this realization from her makes the goddess smile. She reveals that Talia has indeed guessed it correctly, and the chastity statement was not a warning, but rather a prayer for the holy sisters. The curvy goddess goes on to explain what she meant, but for plot purposes we are not shown what she says. Talia, however, now knows the secret to the chastity statement, so she declares that she might have finally understood the way things work around here. She asks the goddess if she should keep this a secret from the others, but the goddess says that either way is fine for her. After all, if the girls find the true meaning, then they probably will never be able to stop with the shoddiness. Talia walks away and comments on how it will be a delightful scene to celebrate the bond between a man and a woman. This brings a rather shady smile to her face, and then she comments on how she is excited for what will happen between her and our hero. Kasaka is busy taking a bath, and then we see a massive bell ringing in the church. Sister Rose and the other nuns are out on patrol, but the ringing of the bell means that they need to finish their session. Rose is excited to use the large bath because nobody usually goes there after it's lights out. However, she has no idea about the surprise that is waiting for her over there. Both Kasaka and Rose are a bit embarrassed by seeing each other in their respective birthday suits, and our hero is confused because he had no idea that a sister would come and use the bath. Both of them turn around, and then Kasaka asks Rose why she is here at this time. The Holy Sister realizes that she had forgotten about our hero being here, so she has been found lacking. She explains that the nuns usually have patrols at night, which causes them to get sweaty. But before she excites any of our viewers any further, she decides to cut it off. Kasaka says that he is pretty much done with his bath, so he will get out of here soon. However, Rose tells him not to do that, which confuses him a bit because they are both still in their birthday suits. Rose explains that taking a bath after a night patrol is the best feeling the Holy Sisters know of. It's almost like doing shady things, and since Rose has the permission for these baths, it should not be a problem. At this very moment, Kasaka can hear other people, so he asks Rose if she is not the only person who has come for a bath. She explains that patrols are usually done in groups of 4, which means that there are 3 more Holy Sisters coming in. This is not good for Kasaka as his identity is supposed to be kept as a secret, so he and Rose wonder what they should do. Rose has no other choice, so she grabs our hero's hand and pulls him behind her in the bath. We see the other curvy sisters making their way into the bath, and they are surprised to see Rose soaking in the bath. She says that she was feeling tired, so she decided to enjoy the bath, but we can see Kasaka hiding behind her. This may seem a bit unreasonable, but the couple really does not have much of a choice if Kasaka's identity is to be kept a secret. Rose explains that as long as our hero keeps his distance from the other nuns, he should be fine because the visibility in the bath is low due to the steam. Kasaka decides to trust Rose, but this leads to an extremely awkward session. He says sorry for making this uncomfortable, but Rose says that it was just an accident, so it can't be helped. All of that is fine, but the position these two find themselves in is a bit hilarious. Rose's soft and curvy body is too much for even the most disciplined man to resist, so our hero was never going to win this fight. Rose can feel something solid appearing all of a sudden against her bottom, so Kasaka has to explain that this is just a natural reaction. Kasaka's elephant pokes at Rose now, but she knows that it can't be helped because even though she is a holy sister, her body has been made for sin. She maintains that she still does not trust Kasaka, and she will get very angry if he tries to do something shady. Our hero promises that he will do no such thing, but then one of the other nuns asks to join Rose in the bath. This is not good news, but there isn't any other place for Kasaka to hide, so he has to go with the flow. Rose panics and decides to push Kasaka into the water because he will need to hide as much of his body as possible. Rose assumes an odd position now, so the curvy nun asks her why she has her back pointed to her. Rose says that it's because the wind is feeling nice. The curvy nun buys the story, but then she notices Rose moving a bit weirdly. She asks what's up, but Rose says it's all good. Upon closer inspection, we realize that all is not good as our hero's face is right where most of the viewers would want their faces to be. Kasaka can feel something soft and wet on his nose and mouth, so it is rather impressive for him not to break into buffet mode. Rose is also using all her energy to prevent any intrusive thoughts from coming to her. After what Kasaka had done to Lily, he is even more aware of what is happening, but he needs to summon all his powers to resist heavenly temptation. Now, the curvy nun is told not to warm up too much in the bath, otherwise she will not be able to get any sleep. Luckily, she agrees to this and leaves with the other holy sisters, thus keeping Kasaka's identity hidden. Rose happily waves them goodbye and then she lets our hero break free from the temptation of Kitty. Since Kasaka is a man of culture, he stares at the kitty for a bit and then apologizes for making Rose do such a thing even though it was an emergency. This makes Rose wonder if he is actually a good guy, but then Kasaka's ring lights up, which means it's time for a task. Our hero can't believe that a trial has arrived here of all places, and then Rose is told that she is the one who has to perform it. The task happens to be a body wash play activity, but this is not good news for Kasaka as it is an extremely shady activity. Rose does not understand what body wash play encompasses. So Kasaka has to explain to her that it is a service offered at Shady shops back in his world. It involves washing the body with soap and foam, but also while rubbing bodies together. Rose is not surprised to hear this, especially after seeing what happened to Leina and Lily, but she also asks our hero if his country is only filled with shady men. Her statement may actually apply to the whole world, especially the regular viewers of Comic Guzzlers, but Kasaka needs to focus on the task at hand. He tells Rose that everyone has a shady side, so it's not right to shame them for it. She responds by saying she does not have a shady side, but we all know that's a lie. Anyway, there is no time to argue about such things, so she says that they should just get it over with. Kasaka does not find this attitude healthy, so he tells Rose that if she is pushing herself too hard to receive guidance, then he'll stop. Rose appreciates the concern, but she tells Kasaka that she has already stated that she will do whatever is required for her to receive guidance. Kasaka now has to be felt by Rose, who asks if she will need to make her own body touch his in order to complete the task given to her. Our hero is nervous, so he does not know how to respond to her, but the Holy Sister seems to have understood it is going to happen one way or another. This means that the elephant poking her before will eventually find his way around once more. With that, Rose turns around and orders Kasaka to expose his elephant to her, which seems rather hilarious due to her tone. Kasaka tries to resist, but Rose tells him they will need to face each other in order to feel pleasure. Our hero does not understand why Rose has to be so determined to achieve this, but she is not going to wait for him any longer. After a bit of a struggle, the holy nun finally manages to remove the loincloth and she finally notices what an elephant looks like. Of course, since she is against the whole idea of men, she finds Kasaka's elephant to be disgusting, but she almost instinctively grabs at it, causing our hero's eggs to get crushed. He grovels on the ground and tells her the elephant's eggs are very delicate, so she should be a bit gentler in her approach. Rose apologizes as even she does not know what just came over her. Now, the focus is to stimulate, so Rose gets into position while Kasaka wonders if he should close his eyes here. Of course, a man of culture should not be doing such a shameful act, and should view the beauties of life without restraint. Anyway, it's time to grab and shake, which leads Rose to realize something important. The elephant's trunk is hard indeed, but it is not a bone and rather some other kind of hardness. Things are getting really difficult for our hero, and he is unable to concentrate, but Rose tells him not to be timid and to do his job properly. Of course, that's a lot easier said than done when you're dealing with intrusive thoughts, and Kasaka tells us the washing is literally the last thing on his mind right now. The firm and elastic feeling caused by the pointers on Rose's pillows are doing all kinds of things to Kasaka, and the warmth of her kitty is making him shiver with excitement. The sensation is way too much for his liking, but at the same time, he has only just understood how soft and warm a girl's body can get. Time passes by, and Kasaka comments that the toughest part of all these activities is that they feel really good. Up until now, the guidance only dealt with him taking action, but he has now found himself on the receiving end as well, which has definitely turned the tables. Our hero now gets real with us and says that he's about to unleash his elephant water, and it would be rather embarrassing for him if he splashed it all over Rose. She would definitely find that disgusting, so he asks her to hold on for a second. Rose is a bit confused, so Kasaka tells her the stimulation is way too strong for him. To everyone's surprise, Rose understands what he means by this and even uses the term for it. Of course, it makes Kasaka a bit conscious, so he asks Rose not to say such things casually. His behavior is actually cute to her, and she blushes from his nervousness. Rose then says that Kasaka is a strange one, and she might not have even noticed that had he just stayed quiet throughout the whole thing. Kasaka then explains to the holy nun that he does not want this experience to ruin men for her. After all, no girl should have an unsatisfying first time with a man, although that does seem to be the norm back on Earth. Rose asks Kasaka if this is his way of being kind, but he says that it is just his personal preference. The two of them might be doing shady things to each other for the sake of guidance, but originally this should have been something more important. He genuinely believes that shady acts should be complemented by loving and being loved. He believes it so much that he even clenches his fist while saying it as if he is about to start his own campaign. To his surprise, though, Rose has no idea what he is trying to say, and she asks for clarity. Kasaka is speechless, but Rose says that it's quite unusual and weird to be talking to a sister about love. There's a brief pause, but then Rose continues with her shoddiness because it doesn't harm her in any way. Of course, Kasaka has still not recovered from his earlier high, so he tells the Holy Sister not to touch him unless he says so. Rose says that it is partly because she is getting used to this sensation, but she is also interested in the phenomenon of exploding for biological reasons. So basically, if our hero does end up releasing his elephant water, Rose will be fine with it. As a matter of fact, she will actually treat it as a physiological reaction to her efforts. There's also another thing to consider, which is that some of the liquids for the body wash may be coming from the body itself. Most importantly for Rose, she wants to see Kasaka make a weird face, as it might be fun for her. Our hero is worried as Rose puts in her best efforts now to ensure he cracks. However, even she starts to feel the sensation, so she asks for a moment. Sensing an opportunity to win this battle, Kasaka tells her there's no time to rest, and he continues with the guidance. After all, if Rose's kitty explodes before his elephant, the task will be completed and he will win the fight. He has to make sure this is done carefully and gently so that he can claim victory. The path ahead is tough, but our hero is not a quitter, which is why he takes Rose on his lap and proceeds to unleash his secret thigh rubber 9000. Rose begins to turn red as the sensation starts to take over her body, and Kasaka does not back down. The battle continues in gruesome fashion, and shoddiness takes over everyone. But after a long resistance, it finally looks like Rose is going to give in. Kasaka unleashes his finisher move, and this causes the holy nun to finally experience an unholy release. She collapses from the intense sensation while our hero can finally breathe a sigh of relief. He falls to the ground as he was barely able to endure the test, but he has succeeded and won a battle for men of culture all over the world. So the team at Comic Guzzlers applauds him for his immense sacrifice. Kasaka manages to get his thoughts back, and Rose tells him that she understands him a bit better now. She still calls him a troublesome guy, although she blushes as she says it. With that, she hopes to see him soon and even calls him the wise one. However, before she leaves, she tells Kasaka that if he is worried about his elephant exploding, then he should take care of it immediately by himself. Men of culture would agree that too much edging is not good for health, but Kasaka maintains that it's none of Rose's business. All of a sudden, we now move to Sister Talia, who is in a very compromised position and is making all of America's twerking girls insecure. Talia can't believe this is happening, but it looks like the task dictates for her to be dominated right now. Kasaka is not proud of his actions either, but it is not a joke, and he will need to start developing Talia's bottom. In order to understand how we got here, we are taken to a flashback from a few minutes earlier. Kasaka wakes up in bed and is shocked to see his arm in a different color right now. It looks like it's melting, so this is definitely cause for concern. He immediately rushes to the curvy goddess for guidance, and after she takes a good look at it, she states that it is some kind of new miracle which has manifested. She calls the substance on Kasaka's arm the servant's shady mucus, which is known to amplify intrusive thoughts. Since it is a black substance which changes form, Kasaka concludes that it's nothing more than a shady slime. He understands that it is some kind of miracle, but he needs to know how to get it back to normal. The goddess instead says that the miracle will help with the trials, which means that a significant trial is about to appear soon. In other words, Kasaka's hand is not going to get any better unless he does shady things with it to the nuns. Rose is already a bit scared about this, so she hugs Lily for support, but Kasaka himself feels that it is way too much for him. Rose says that even though it's a miracle, it will take a lot for the girls to accept it. This is true, but then our hero realizes that one person is missing from here, and it's Talia. The group decides to go look for her, and they surprisingly find her chained up inside some kind of shady dungeon room. Kasaka is shocked by what he sees, and Talia thanks him for coming to see her. Our hero is very confused right now, so Rose tells Talia not to make such faces as Kasaka normally takes things seriously. Talia then apologizes for her behavior and reveals all of this to be a joke. Rose proceeds to explain to Kasaka that Talia is quite the troublemaker, and she always gets sent to the reflection room whenever she does naughty things. Our hero feels that the reflection room is a bit too ominous a name to be given to such a space, so Rose further states that it was at first a room with written reflections on it. However, Talia does not care for any of this and says that she needs to get punished like this, otherwise she'll run away. It's almost as if she likes to be punished and not in the innocent way. Kasaka asks Rose what Talia did to deserve such punishment, and we learn that she had infused magic into the jam which was to be distributed to the town's diner. This magic makes the jam glow brightly, which makes it delicious but also somewhat creepy. Our hero does not understand what kind of prank this is, as it is not serious enough to be punished for. Talia states that making sparkling jam and being chained up are both valuable experiences for her. She would also like to know why Kasaka is here, and then she notices the new arm he's carrying. She realizes that the arm is for a new miracle, and even calls it wonderful. Our hero had thought that there could be a clue to resolving his arm in Talia's room, but then his ring clicks. Talia thinks this is some kind of bingo situation, but then the ring tells Kasaka that he will need to do the reverse of Leina with Talia. Rose does not know what the word means, and Talia is actually excited for her turn, although she thinks that the word sounds soft, so the experience will also be the same. Nobody has ever been more wrong in the history of comic guzzlers. Unfortunately for her, Kasaka has to break the truth and reveal that it means the other hole. This is enough to spook out both Rose and Talia, with Rose immediately exiting the room, wishing Talia all the best. Talia is getting a bit nervous, so she asks Kasaka if he is joking about what the word means. Sadly, he has to confirm that he is indeed speaking the truth. It's not good news, but Talia is chained to the walls, so it's not like she can resist either. Our hero needs to do the right thing, so he takes a look at Talia's garments and is surprised by how modern they look. Talia keeps saying this is not fun at all, and even asks for help. However, when the supreme powers want the booty to be entered, she must abide. Of course, it does seem a bit odd to be mentioning that particular part since it has nothing to do with reproduction. However, when Kasaka thinks about it calmly, he comes to a certain conclusion. A man's true dream is to enter the other hole, but this is not helping Talia, who can't even face our hero right now. Kasaka now says that this will be an extremely difficult hurdle to overcome. Even if he were to develop Talia's bottom, it would take a lot of time and determination. Luckily for him, he has the miracle arm, so he gets to work instantly. Now, we are back to the present as our hero removes the garment obstacle in front of him. As he slides them off, he can see that Talia's bottom is a perfectly clean and pink flower. It's a beautiful sight and is indeed worthy of being called a man's dream. Talia tells him that even though this is guidance, it's a bit embarrassing for her to be watched like this. Our hero realizes his intrusive thoughts are taking over, so he apologizes and continues. He does note that the sisters don't get embarrassed easily around men, so he lets his guard down from time to time. After all, it's hard to have a sense of shame towards men in a completely female society too. Now, he starts with the guidance, and in order to ease everything around Talia's second entrance, Kasaka will need to ease and soften her surroundings. He then sticks it in, and it causes Talia to release a rather shady noise, thus making Kasaka question her reaction to his methods. Now, we are given a short intro on Sister Talia, who was born with extraordinary miraculous powers. She was named the Child of Miracles, which was why a lot of the common folk would think of her as the next in line to become the curvy goddess. However, the restrictive life of being expected to be virtuous all the time has led her to rebel against society. She just wants to live freely on her own terms, which she never got the chance to do. Talia had hoped for her dull life to end one day, and it looks like she's getting exactly what she wanted right now. The naughty nun is feeling really good right now, so she asks Kasaka if this is how it's supposed to be even in the other hole. Kasaka wonders why she is reacting so much because she is still young and should not be sensing high pleasure already. That's when he realizes this is the work of the shady slime that has been stuck on his arm. The goal of this time is most likely both guidance and controlling the miracle, which means Kasaka needs to be on his A-game. It will still be tough for him, so he needs to make sure he does not harm Talia. He thinks that maybe he can change the shape of his finger to make the process a bit easier for Talia, but his own intrusive thoughts are taking over, so he needs to enter as soon as possible. Now, Kasaka puts his shady powers to use and turns his finger into a smaller and thinner stick, so the strain will be lesser on the naughty nun. However, Kasaka is still a bit worried about the smell, and it would be rude of him not to mention it. He awkwardly asks Talia if it's okay for him to take a sniff before entering, but she tells him no. Our hero has no other choice but to go in without any precautions. So he puts his finger into the Temple of Doom, and it does something to Talia's sensations. It's a bit too overwhelming for the naughty nun, but at least she now knows how shady pleasure feels. She also understands why Lily reacted the way she did back when Kasaka violated her first. The sensation makes Talia twist and turn, but the chains start to creak as they offer resistance. Kasaka realizes that it must be uncomfortable for Talia being tied up like this, so he frees her from the chains and lets her catch a breather. It was hinted at before, but now it gets confirmed that Talia actually wants this to happen to her rather than letting it happen as part of a holy task. She likes the fact that she is vulnerable and helpless in the dark with no way to resist whatever is being done to her dirty hole. Kasaka thinks that Talia is feeling guilty, but she says that is not the case at all. It's only natural to have your way with a sister's behind as per her logic. She seems to have finally found the man she has been looking for all this time, and she is thankful that such a trial needed to be overcome both by her and him. Our hero feels that the naughty nun is taunting him, but she is actually happy that her boring life is finally going to get destroyed. She actually wants Kasaka to do shady things to her other hole, and it makes him shiver with shock. The task still needs to be completed, so our hero is not going to back out simply because he is with an unholy nun. He continues to use his miracle finger to work all kinds of miracles on her, and it makes Talia tremble with joy and satisfaction. This continues for a few seconds, but then Kasaka realizes that the experience will be more pleasurable if the finger is not in its base form. He decides to turn it into a series of beads that would definitely sell for a lot as toys for certain women. This is a lot better for Talia, who is feeling things that she has never felt before. Of course, too much sensation can cause some pain, so she starts tearing up in her eyes. Our hero feels bad about this, so he asks if he should stop, but Talia wants him to continue unfazed. He understands the assignment and tells her that he will go on until she finishes. Kasaka promises Talia that it will be over soon, and he decides to unleash the Bead Buster 3000. The naughty nun is completely taken over, and she pleads for our hero to end it for her as she can't bear to feel so good much longer. Kasaka reassures her that it will be done soon, and in the next few seconds, he manages to make her explode. With that, the unholy nun drops to the floor to recover from what has just been done to her. She feels that her bottom is going to break from all that has been done to her, but she has experienced something truly enlightening. Later, she asks Kasaka if he was actually trying to break her bottom, to which he apologizes, stating he let his intrusive thoughts get the better of him. He gets her some tea as a gesture of goodwill, and she drinks it for relaxation. Talia admits that she was trying to tease Kasaka a little, but it backfired on her in the most extreme manner. Her bottom is still tingling, which means she really felt a lot. Anyway, Kasaka's arm is back to normal after violating Talia, so he is grateful to her for it. She asks him if he can use it freely now, and he jokes that he might even be able to secrete an aphrodisiac from it. Talia calls Kasaka a full-body lewd person, which is definitely a shameful nickname. She still thanks him for going easy on her in general, and also for curing all the boredom that was growing inside her. Putting that aside, the naughty nurse decides to spank Kasaka's bottom suddenly, making him befuddled. He asks her why she is doing this, but she states that she only wanted to get back at him for the treatment she got earlier. Our hero chuckles over how mischievous this sister is, but she also reveals that it's not fun to smack a man's bottom because of how hard it is. Now we shift to Rose and Lily, who are discussing how to note down and share the body washing incident that happened between Rose and Kasaka. Lily asks her how our hero was, but she does not want to give him too much credit. She ends up saying that Kasaka is at the very least not a bad guy, and this makes Lily happy. Before they move on to the next task, Rose recalls how Kasaka told her that he would stop whatever he was doing if she did not like it. This is particularly strange to her because our hero got dragged into this world without his own consent, and yet he is more concerned about the sisters and how they feel. It is quite strange from a normal perspective, but men of culture can relate. The next point that Rose brings up is Kasaka's elephant, which she found to be rather impressive. Even though she called it disgusting in front of our hero, it was her first time seeing one, but Lily still hasn't seen it, so she's rather curious. Later in the night, Lily suddenly wakes up from a dream and we learn that it was about Kasaka. On top of that, it was a shady dream, which means that Lily is catching feelings for him. Lily also realizes that she does not know much about our hero, so she wonders what kind of person he truly is when compared to how he tries to behave in front of the now unholy sisters. Before she even knows it, she's already thinking about his elephant again, so she tries to shake off her intrusive thoughts. We learn that ever since Lily got her holy guidance, the heat from her body has not disappeared, meaning her loins are aching for Kasaka. Every time she thinks of him, she feels a deep throbbing inside her stomach, and she actually wants him to touch her again. Lily tries to regain her composure because it is not holy to be thinking of such things. However, she believes that this is a good change because even the curvy goddess had mentioned it. Even so, Lily feels that she's getting too affected by it. She wonders if she was always shady in the first place, but more importantly, she wants to figure out how to ease the throbbing in her stomach. Lily feels that Kasaka would know how to help her, so after some more intrusive thoughts, the blushing nun gets out of her bed and goes to our hero's room. Lily tells him what she has been feeling, but our hero is surprised that she came to him out of all people for help. The curvy nun tells our hero that he is the only one she could talk to about this, so he realizes he needs to do something. After all, if she is not able to sleep at night, then she needs to release all that pressure. Kasaka remembers that Leina could take care of herself because she was more aware of such things, but Lily is not like that, so she will need to be taught how to do solo missions. Kasaka can't believe he will have to teach such a naive girl about the art of solo touching. But his ring is not reacting, which means there is no task coming up. In this case, it could be okay to dodge the question, but our hero can't say no to such a cute face, so he invites Lily into his room. She immediately follows after him, and Kasaka reminds us that it is against his principles to turn someone away when they're embarrassed but still asking for help. Before they begin, Kasaka asks Lily if it is okay for her to be entering a boy's room in the middle of the night. She apologizes, but only because she thinks that she has disturbed Kasaka in the middle of his sleep. He tells her that he was referring to her safety, but she is absolutely clueless about what he's trying to imply. She thinks there is something dangerous in this room, which further shows us how innocent Lily is. Kasaka laments that these sisters really do not know how to be cautious in this world. But anyway, it's time to get down to some explanation. Lily sits next to Kasaka as he prepares his speech, but the mere sight of a girl in her pajamas on his bed is making him think all kinds of shady things. It is indeed a lewd scene, but it is not like they are lovers or anything. So it's time for a lesson on solo treating. Kasaka tells Lily that solo missions are what people do to take care of themselves when no one else is around. It's all about stimulating hot spots to satisfy your intrusive thoughts. Kasaka also reveals that most people in his world learn how to do this by themselves when they reach puberty. Of course, he doesn't reveal how often they do it, especially Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street. Lily is still amazed by the fact that people are learning how to do such shady things by themselves, and then Kasaka explains that if she continues to do this till she explodes, then the throbbing will go away. She does not get what he means, so he explains how what she felt when he violated her the first time was an explosion. Lily continues to repeat this term again and again, which makes Kasaka feel weird, so he asks her to cut it out. She apologizes and then declares that she has learned what solo touching is. Lily thanks Kasaka for his advice, but then tells him that she is going to do her best right now, and wants him to watch her. Kasaka is in a tight spot here because if he has to watch Lily on her solo mission, it's basically a severe kind of punishment for him. The unholy nun likes to follow a bottom-to-top approach, which is something that our hero can appreciate. With this, the solo session begins, as we see Lily exploring everything, right from her kitty to her pillows. Some time passes by, but Lily does not seem to be happy with something, so Kasaka asks what's wrong. She says that it would be a lot better if he did the touching, and this makes Bro fall into a state of limbo. He asks Lily if she is feeling any difference, to which she says that it's not as intense when she does it. Kasaka then explains to her that while on solo missions, people often imagine or look at shady things in order to push their intrusive thoughts to the max. It totally helps with the overall experience, and he is speaking as a thorough man of culture. Lily gets the idea, but her eyes are still on the prize, meaning she is still looking at our hero. She's a bit shy, but she does have something she would like to ask of Kasaka. He tells her to go ahead, but then she says that she wishes to see his elephant. Naturally, this is not something that Kasaka had expected at all. The unholy sister sits there waiting for a response, but Bro does not know how to respond to this request. Lily says that the talk of elephants came up when she was having a word with Rose. She's been thinking about it for a while, but before she can say anything else, Kasaka agrees to do it. In a way, he feels that it was unfair for him to keep watching Lily and the other girls during their shady times, but more importantly, he is glad that he is being desired by a babe like Lily, which is a great ego booster for him. Our hero shows his prized possession, and Lily comments that it's as big as a python. The smell seems to be doing something to her as well, and she continues with her solo mission. It clearly seems to be doing something for her, as her breaths get deeper with every rub. As this goes on, Lily gets even closer to Kasaka and his elephant, which means that Bro is about to lose control very soon. She apologizes, but our hero has had enough, so he pushes her to the bed and says that they should carry on. Lily has no problems with that, so she unleashes her finger blaster on herself. Things are getting crazy, but Kasaka says that he's not even guiding Lily this time. The unholy nun says that she can even sense our hero's heartbeat as she indulges herself. Kasaka says that the scent of a babe like Lily, coupled with the sounds of her kitty water, are enough to drive him to the brink of insanity. On top of that, the hardness of his elephant and the sounds of his heart beating are doing similar things to Lily. She says that she has somewhat fallen in love with Kasaka, And even though doing such things are forbidden in her faith, she is still enjoying herself, and it's only a few seconds later that she completely explodes. It's a crazy stream that comes out, and after she relaxes for a few seconds, Lily wonders why there is only one certain future that keeps crossing her mind. The unholy nun is embarrassed, so she hides her face as she says that whenever she asks Kasaka for guidance, she ends up soaking her futon. This is actually a compliment to most men, so our hero tells her not to worry about it. Lily is still feeling shy, so she hides her face and says that this is exactly how people would speak to her when she was small. They would always pull her along and say that it was going to be okay, which has made her wish to become this kind of person as a sister. Lily does not doubt the goddess at all, but at the same time, through all her unspeakable acts, she wonders if she can still be proud of herself like she was when she was young. After all, her curvy body is overwhelmed with desire, but she still says sorry to Kasaka as she is confessing her worries to him, whereas it should be the other way around. Bro is not pleased with this Uno reverse, so he says that he too is sorry because this is all his fault. Lily says that this is not Kasaka's fault at all, but he decides to tell her a story from his past as well. He says that when he was small, he had a dream and wanted to work towards it. He had a difficult time, mainly due to his older sister who was like a Spartan to him. He may have decided this for himself, but every day, he would wonder if it was worth all the trouble. He would have easily given up, had it not been for his dream. So he is thrilled that Lily wants to work hard for someone else's sake. As long as this resolution is firm, it does not matter how she changes, because she will never become someone she will not be proud of. Lily blushes, but she also wants to know what this dream was that our hero had. Bro is a bit taken aback, but he does confess that his dream is to find his very own princess. Lily does not follow, but Kasaka asks her what's wrong with it, as he had desired this right from when he was a kid. He tells her to laugh if she wants to, and the hilarious thing is that she actually does laugh. The unholy nun says that it's not the story which is making her laugh, but rather Kasaka's vibe. She and the other girls were taught that men are supposed to be scary like wolves, but she finds our hero to be cute. This embarrasses Kasaka some more, but he is determined to fulfill his dream and then experience his first time with this princess. Lily asks if he is referring to the first time between a man and a woman, but Bro changes the topic because things are shady enough as they are. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the castle, a message seems to have come from the goddess. The message states that the sage is coming, so the ceremony's preparations need to be in order. Now, we suddenly move to the actual ceremony, where all kinds of shady noises and actions are being performed. The act in question is called Samata, which is much better explained on Google than on Comic Guzzlers. This was decided by the goddess to be performed as Shady guidance, and Kasaka can be seen fighting for dear life. We need a flashback to what led to these events, so we first learn that the ceremony is a festival in the City of Flowers, held in the name of the goddess. The goddess is shown in all her curvy perfection, as she tells Kasaka that the day of his public debut has been decided. He does not understand what she means by this, so she says that it's the day his existence as a sage will be announced in the City of Flowers. Our hero is confused because men are not allowed over here, which is true, but the goddess says that she will reveal him first to only a selected few people. This will guarantee his position as a guest of the goddess, which is actually the main purpose of the ceremony. It is basically a demonstration, but our hero worries that he will have to do shady things in front of a live audience. He asks if there is a point in revealing his existence to the people in the City of Flowers, to which the goddess says yes. For starters, he will finally be able to walk around freely around the city, which is good news. It is basically important to expand on the scope of Shady guidance, so Kasaka has no problem with it, as long as he can walk freely again. Sister Talia then says that there are ruins left behind by ancient sages too, and she is looking forward to seeing them. Now, the goddess says that the ceremony will happen tomorrow at midnight, and the ones performing the demonstration will be Kasaka and Lily. Rose, Lupina, and Talia, on the other hand, will provide assistance and explanations to those in attendance. They are fine with this, but they don't exactly know the content of what they're going to say. Anyway, we move to the day of the ceremony, and people are already talking about how big the castle is. These people include Kasaka, who gets fascinated by all kinds of things, such as the carriages and even the strange creatures in the area. He can't seem to control his excitement, but the girls tell our sage boy to stop messing around. He is then taken to inside the castle, which is where the government called Naka no Sono is located. We learn that the City of Flowers is divided into 3 main factions, with Naka no Sono being one, the Academy being the second, and the third being the Thorn Squad. Kasaka does not know about the Thorn Squad, so Talia explains that they protect the city and get into battles if needed. Of course, this is an island, so there isn't exactly any threat of external enemies, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Some more girls arrive, and they look like Amazons because they are all around 2 meters tall. It must be nice to be strong and tall, which is something that Kasaka seems to like in women. Rose asks him what about the short women, so Bro activates Shakespeare mode and says that such women have dreams that exceed their bodies. Rose does not get what he's trying to say, and Talia decides to talk about all the creepy things he did to her behind. There is no time for idle chat, so Rose tells Lily and our sage boy to go and change into their ceremony clothes. Kasaka takes a look at his outfit, which is just a transparent sheet. He can't believe that this is what he has to wear in front of so many babes, and he is also feeling a bit awkward about changing clothes in the same room as Lily. The unholy nun asks our hero if he remembers what they spoke about the other day, to which he says yes. Lily then confesses that the simple act of changing clothes in front of Kasaka is making her heart race. She is aware that she should not let her intrusive thoughts win, so she would like for Kasaka to confirm something for her. She wants to look at his face, and then she presents her curvy body for all men of culture to view and appreciate. Kasaka can see everything through the transparent clothes, so he will need to keep himself in check. However, Lily comes closer to him and puts her hand on his chest. He does not know what she is trying to do here, but she says that this is also a part of the guidance. She wants to make sure that this demonstration will benefit everyone, and on that note, the couple heads towards the ceremony. Today's event is going to be big news, as everyone will want to see the new sage chosen by the goddess. The Shady guidance was supposed to be kept a secret at first, but now after all the work he's put in, our hero is ready to show his skills to the world. Rose and the other nuns start with the announcements and other formalities, after which it is revealed that the demonstration shall involve the act of samadha. Bro knows what this means, and even Lily seems to have an idea, but she still presents herself. As this is said, the two of them are to begin with their session. Some of the Amazon women take a look at our hero and comment that a man is indeed very different from a woman, considering this is their first time seeing one. Kasaka is wearing transparent clothes, so his elephant is quite visible, and it makes some of the girls ask what it is supposed to be. Some of the nun girls feel that they are doing something terribly wrong, and it only makes our hero more uncomfortable. He is very tense because he now has to put on a show as if he is some kind of raging bull. His python is excited for sure because he does love samadha, but the problem is that he has no experience of doing it. There are different kinds of samadha, with some being more subtle than others, but the goddess had mentioned quite specifically that she would like it to be done the good old way. Lily is told to get on the bed now, but Kasaka feels that it would be wrong to leave the whole thing to her. The first plan of action is to act like missionary people, if you catch my drift. The other nuns in attendance can see the butter being spread, and they can't believe this is the kind of guidance that was being practiced for so long. Kasaka takes a look at Lily's kitty, and he can see that she is already drenched. He thinks that it might be due to embarrassment, but then he calls back to the things Lily has told him about her. He also knows that he needs to draw a boundary, otherwise he will get carried away and mess things up for everyone. Now, our hero gets ready for action and tells Lily they shall now begin the guidance. She is ready as ever, so Kasaka takes the lead and begins with the standard moves. It may be tricky at first, but then Kasaka tells Lily to guide his elephant to wherever it is required. This makes the experience a lot better for her, and Leina then comments that it's exactly as how she had seen in the book. Of course, this leads Talia to say that she is no less than a PG-13 ditty. Kasaka is trying his best to stay calm, but you should not expect so much from a man of culture. After all, since he has never done it before, this does feel as close to the real thing as possible. He can see everything too, so he figures it's better to change positions. Lily gets on top of Kasaka and asks if this is how our hero would like her. He says yes, and while the act does not change, the movements do. It seems to be a bit scary for Lily at first, but Kasaka tells her that she will get the hang of it. The Shady session begins once more, with both parties acting as if they are truly doing something educational. Lily really starts to get into it, but Bro lets his intrusive thoughts win and goes straight for her pillows. He realizes that he has messed up, so he says sorry to Lily, but she tells him that she is feeling really good. This is only going to increase passion from both ends, and the demonstration continues. Lily is really getting into her element now, but Kasaka is fighting a battle that he never thought he would have to fight. Now, after some time, Lily has an explosion and lets out some kitty water. Everyone in the room is shocked to see this, but this is exactly how you get things done. Lily can calm down for a bit, and even Kasaka can rest assured that he has won the battle. He is relieved, so he asks Lily to get off him once she has completely calmed down. However, something seems to be up with her, so Kasaka takes a closer look. He can see that she is crying, and she asks him to forgive her for what she is about to do next. At this very moment, the elephant is forced into the kitty by Lily, so it's safe to say that all bets are off. At first, Kasaka has no idea as to what has just happened, but then he realizes that Lily is no longer an innocent nun girl, and neither is he. Things get extremely intense, and our hero did not expect this at all, so he has been taken by surprise. He asks Lily to stop, because nuns should not be doing such things. The problem is that he can't exactly push her away, because with so many people watching, it will lead to suspicions around the ceremony. Bro has to use his big brain energy fast, but he feels really good due to Lily's worn kitty energy. Kasaka comes back to his senses, but he will not be able to last much longer this way, so he has to act fast. It's time to unleash one of his secret moves, which is called the Servant's Shady Slime, which enhances the vibe for Lily. This should allow her to finish faster, which will allow our hero time to recover. Meanwhile, the Amazon girls become a bit cautious because the movements have changed a bit. Talia takes a closer look, and she seems to have understood what is going on. Of course, she can't let anyone know about it, so she says that the guidance was always going to get intense in the second half. Back to Lily, she is really going crazy, and it seems that she has gotten better at it due to past guidance sessions. It's not looking good for Kasaka though, as he already fought off one session. It's not like how he used to read in manga stories because it's real life now, and he is in big trouble. He asks Lily to stop again, and after some time, she falls on top of him to say that she is going to have yet another explosion. And with that, the Shady nun experiences her second one and twitches like crazy. However, it also seems as though Kasaka has released his elephant water too, but it's not explicitly confirmed. Either way, the demonstration is over, and Lily's hips have given out. Our hero carries her and would like to take her somewhere where she can rest. They go to the guest room, and then Talia takes a look at the bed. She says that she will take care of the sheets, because she can see some blood on them, which could have only come from Lily. This makes her wonder what is going to happen next. For now, we move to both Lily and Kasaka, who are in the guest room. Our hero knows what they did will not be considered as an accident, so Lily has lost her innocence. He is fine about it, but he is concerned about what will happen to the Shady nun, because they can't really hide what happened. However, Lily seems to be in tears, so Kasaka has to do something to make her feel better. He tells her that he should have been more serious about stopping her during the ceremony, but Lily says sorry to him because she is the one who has hurt him. Bro does not follow because he has finally become a man, but then Lily tells him about his dream of finding a princess. She also says that she is the one who attacked him and had her way with him despite him saying no. Lily starts to cry now because she has taken our hero's dream away from him. Kasaka is shocked because rather than thinking about how this will affect her life, Lily is feeling bad over a trivial dream he had. Bro then tells Lily not to misunderstand the situation as he slams her to the bed. Her heart beats faster as our hero says she does not need to cry. After all, a big, bad wolf devoured an innocent sister today. They seem to be more in sync now, and they share a secret with each other that night. Now, we move to the next morning, where we see that both Kasaka and Lily have actually done it properly. Lily wakes up first and notices her new lover boy still asleep in bed. She then remembers that yesterday was filled with all kinds of unspeakable acts. She then drops into the bed again and looks at Kasaka with dreamy eyes. She also knows that our hero called himself a big, bad wolf only to protect her feelings. Either way, getting her freak on with Kasaka felt amazing to her. As a matter of fact, Lily is relieved now because she was always torn between her choices as a holy sister and her true intrusive thoughts. However, being held by Kasaka and being with him has made her realize that he will always stay with her, no matter what. She knows that her being with Kasaka means that all will be well, and then our hero wakes up to her saying good morning. Lily suggests going to wash off the sweat from their bodies, and the couple proceeds to the showers. Kasaka says that Lily will need to keep this a secret, no matter what, otherwise things will get really tricky for them. Lily says yes, but she is also smiling a lot, so Kasaka asks her what's up. He then tells us that they are hugging each other now, which is making him think all kinds of things. Bro's elephant is awakening again, and he wonders if he actually was lucky enough to get with Lily. As the shower continues, the unholy sister moves closer towards her lover boy and even holds his hand to make this moment truly romantic. He tells Lily that this is not Shady guidance, but she is fine with that. After all, maybe they can play pythons and kitties again during the next guidance session. This is not good news for our hero, because he is sure that he will give in to his shady intentions the next time as well. He does confirm that it's not like he's in love or anything, but being so intimate with someone can be very dangerous. At the same time, Bro feels that since he has popped her cherry, he should also take responsibility for Lily, just like a true Giga Chad would. Suddenly, Sister Talia shows up and asks him what he is referring to by responsibility. He is taken aback, but then asks Talia if she needs something. She says that she would like to hear his thoughts on the physical bonds between a man and a woman. Bro tries to act ignorant, but it won't do him any good, because Talia saw the blood stains on the sheet. It was really hard to hide them, especially considering they are evident signs of defloration. Kasaka says sorry for being reckless, but Talia says that she has no desire to spread any information around. Kasaka is confused, so he asks Talia if she is really just here to know his thoughts on the matter. She says yes, so he figures he might as well indulge her. Our hero gives her a very simple answer, which is that he felt a lot of happiness, just like any man of culture would. He also never thought that a physical bond would resonate so strongly with him in his head. Talia figures that it was a wonderful experience, so she asks the sage boy not to go any further than this. Kasaka does not understand what she means by this, so Talia explains that he most likely will not be able to go any further than this. After all, Lily will probably remain a sister till the very end. Kasaka then has some clarity and realizes that this is just a part of the Shady guidance mission he has been given. He should not be arrogant enough to claim responsibility of a curvy babe just because he got with her. Talia says that she understands Kasaka's pride getting the better of him, but also says that if he lives every day thinking about the sisters, then they will be happy about it too. Basically, Bro has to keep up with his struggles for the sisters, and if it's for their sake, then he will gladly do it. Talia smiles and says that it's very cool for him to say that, but Kasaka tells her not to tease him. She then flirts with Kasaka, saying that she is totally fine with romance from her end. Our hero doesn't understand, because she just told him to forget about Lily. However, Talia says that she does not intend on remaining a sister, so it's okay to do shady things with her. She is looking forward to some fun experiences in the future, but Kasaka feels it's a bit of a letdown. Now, we see Rose, who enters a room to see a giant Amazon woman hilariously carrying Kasaka. She wants to know the meaning of this, but it's a simple case of a celebrity being targeted by his new fans. After all, he is the sage of the goddess, so all the ladies want a piece of him. Rose is able to drag him out of there, and he thanks her for doing so. Rose figures that our hero has been through a lot, and he admits that even though being in a world full of women may seem like a dream, it is also a lot of work. Now, Rose gives Kasaka a bag full of clothes, and he sees that it is a nun outfit made for Amazon women. Rose tells him that it would be reckless for the sage boy to roam around town now that his identity has been revealed. This is why he has to put on a disguise as she takes him out for some shopping today. After Kasaka gets dressed into an odd kind of cosplay, he travels with her, and they can hear all kinds of gossip about a man being in town and living with the sisters at the academy. Some of the women think he might be scary, whereas others feel he could be like a prince. Our hero gets nervous as he is the talk of the town, but Rose says it can't be helped. After all, men are viewed either as wolves or princes in this place. It turns out that the entertainment here only shows men in extremes, so it's not too different from Earth. There are romance stories here too, but they are quite rare. This sounds really interesting to Kasaka, and Rose is surprised that he finds romance stories so beautiful. Now, they reach a clothing store, but Kasaka says it looks suspicious. Rose says that they need to make some undergarments for him, otherwise his walnuts will get spoiled. She has already spoken to the store owner in advance, so she will take his measurements. It's a lot better than the clothes given to the Amazon women, and that's when our hero realizes that he was wearing women's clothes till now. It's time for Bro to get into his almost birthday suit, and the store owner watches on in fascination as she might be a gooner. Rose takes Kasaka's measurements, and she is taken aback to see how differently men measure when compared to women. It's time for the inseam, but that's a delicate zone for any man of culture. Kasaka offers to take the measurement himself, but Rose asks him why he is getting embarrassed now, especially after all the unspeakable things he has done to the sisters. Bro comments that Rose is a bit too carefree, but he must control himself as she takes his inseam. Kasaka thinks about how he went out with Rose to take a stroll around town, and has found himself in such a moment right after. He says that today is a good day, but Rose asks him why he is making that face. Kasaka says that this feels like a date, so he got a little emotional. Rose gets a bit embarrassed by this, so she reminds Bro that to sisters, the concept of romance is forbidden. Kasaka does get his outfit made, but it starts to rain, so things have become a bit inconvenient. It gets really heavy, so Kasaka laments his luck on the way back home. Rose seems to enjoy the rain, but the water makes her outfit cling on to her a bit too tightly, which gives Kasaka a front row ticket to view her curvy body. He even says that God has created some lovely sculptures, and then Rose says they'll just take shelter till the rain goes away. That does seem like a good idea, but then a Shady alert lights up, so Rose comments that it's bad timing. The Ring of Diddlers tells our hero that he should lock lips with Rose, but this is not too bad compared to all the other stuff he has been doing to the sisters. And Bro tells Rose that they need to bring out the tongues, but she says that these things are usually reserved for people who are in love with each other. It's different from Shady guidance, but then Kasaka explains to her that it is also a way to set the mood before playing elephants and kitties. Rose counters by saying it is supposed to be something more special, like a heartfelt connection between a prince and a princess. Kasaka has realized now that Rose is also a fan of romance, even though she tries to deny it. Rose falls to her knees because she doesn't really have a choice, but Kasaka says they can ignore the lesson if she does not wish to do so. Of course, consent is always important on comic guzzlers, especially after what Lily did to our hero. Rose says that she will go ahead with it, but she will do it differently. Kasaka figures that it really is a big deal to Rose, and he does agree that there are people in his world too, who would consider a kiss to be a special moment. He is ready to hear Rose's alternative solution to this, and she reveals her idea, which is more of an excuse. Her heart is thumping like crazy, but then she eventually shows Kasaka that she is fine with the tongue twister 300. This leads the both of them to engage in some seriously unspeakable actions, but this is usually a technicality used to avoid a more intimate session. Basically, the theory is that if the lips don't touch, then it is not a kiss, so Rose is more comfortable this way. It's surprising that a nun finds this to be easier to do. But anyway, Kasaka asks her if she is fine. Rose says yes, although her jaw is getting a bit tired. Regardless, she would like to continue, so our hero is in for a treat. Now, it's time for a flashback, where we see Rose as a child watching a play on a romantic story. She is so excited that she asks her mother if she too will ever meet a wonderful boy. Of course, due to the state of their world, Rose's mom had an awkward smile, but this was enough for her to know that her dream ended before it could even start. She didn't feel too shocked by it because there were no men anyway. This was why the path of a sister suited Rose, as she wanted to keep all these dreams and feelings of hers away in the past. However, now she is feeling something for Kasaka and wonders why that is the case. The tongues continue to twist, and it goes on for quite some time, so one must ask for how long the two of them can go. Now, Rose says that she may have been the one to suggest this method, but something doesn't feel right about it. Of course, it does feel nice, but it is not exactly the kind of guidance that was required. With only the tongues in action, it does not fulfill the true nature of the task. Kasaka thinks about using his divine power to give Rose an explosion, but he is not sure if that would be enough for him to complete the guidance. He realizes that this is her first act of shady behavior, so it's only natural for her to have strong feelings about it. He too feels the same way, because he has already taken Lily's innocence, although he was the one being violated first. Bro gets into deep thoughts and tells us that explosions are not the only way to a sister's heart. He needs to fulfill something else, so he backs off from the action, and Rose asks him what's up. He says he will have to change his approach, but Rose is not sure if her lips should be involved. Kasaka says that he knows it is something special to her, which is why from here, he needs to fulfill her heart. This means that they need to have a more passionate exchange, so Kasaka is going to woo Rose. She does not understand what he means, but he goes for his move. She tells him not to do anything weird, but our boy decides to get his Rizzed mode on, and he goes for her neck. Rose is a bit confused, so Kasaka tells her that a kiss is not just about the lips, but also about showing affection, possessiveness, and leaving a mark that can't be erased. Rose is a bit worried about this mark he is talking about, so he explains to her what a hickey is. He even goes on to call Rose his woman, but at this point, she has no clue what our hero's true intentions are. She tells him that even if he is pretending, he is still saying these things to a sister, but Kasaka says that even if that is the case, he wants to make her his. He goes on to compliment her fiery red hair and her sharp, beautiful eyes, meaning he is going all in on the romance. Bro even thanks Rose for taking him out today, but she says that he should not speak these things out loud. Now, Kasaka says that everything about Rose is worthy of affection, and then he goes for her pillows. Rose says sorry because she is a sister at the end of the day, and she has dedicated her life to God. Kasaka admires her way of living, and then Rose pushes him back, saying she will not be swayed this way. This may be important to her, but with the marks on her body, she asks Kasaka if he is actually going to be a Chad boy. He says that he is going to make him her first time, and then he goes in for the move. He only does it for a second, but then Rose's heart starts thumping, so she goes ahead for more. Now, it's quite obvious that the passion levels are high, and the tongue twister reaches level 900. Rose does not hold back, as she acts on all her intrusive thoughts. The two of them go crazy and wild for a while, and eventually the light fades away, meaning the guidance has finally been completed. Once this happens, Kasaka immediately bows down to Rose and apologizes for his actions. After all, he was a bit more assertive, but Rose does not seem to have an issue with him. She states that he did act a bit creepy, but she could feel his awkwardness and lack of confidence too. Now that the guidance is complete, she feels her judgment was right, but even she is very evidently hiding her true feelings. She even tells us that the real issue is on her end, because even after the completion of the guidance, she is feeling very awkward and earnest. It's almost as if Kasaka made her heart flutter. She then curses herself for being so weak and allowing her childhood memories to take over. Rose says that she needs to train her mind to be a bit more composed, but Kasaka does not understand what she means to say. Anyway, there are some very obvious marks on her body now, and it causes her to blush. She is upset, so she asks Kasaka how he is going to help her cover it up, although the only thing he can do is apologize. Now, our hero thinks back to the unspeakable acts he did with both Lily and Rose earlier. They were both his first time when it came to such acts, so he calls himself a hopeless man, although he does have some fans here at Comic Guzzlers. Even though all of this is supposed to be a part of his job, Bro still feels guilty about being with so many women. He can't let this get serious, otherwise he may have to turn into Ceres, the mommy boy. Kasaka keeps telling himself that he is only with these sisters for the purpose of guidance. If that is the case, then he wonders what will happen when the guidance finally ends. He is aware that one of the sisters is going to become the next goddess, but he does not know what it means to be goddess. Anyway, he will be out of a job when that happens, but Kasaka feels that he should not be overthinking too much. Our hero becomes a bit too restless, so he tells the sisters that he wishes to work. They are surprised to hear this, but Kasaka explains that he is getting bored of not doing anything. Plus, he does not only want to be taken care of, because that would make him pathetic. Talia teases him by asking if he wants to do something naughty, but that is not what he meant. Rose says that if this is what he wants, then it should be fine. She then tells Kasaka some of the options he can choose, out of which one of them is to clean the bath. Leina shows up in some alluring attire and tells our hero it's time to get to work. He is visibly surprised, so he asks her why she is in these garments. Leina reasons that the girls can't afford to get their clothes wet, so this is the efficient method. A whole harem of babes show up in similar dresses, so this can easily be mistaken for an alternate heaven. He keeps his calm and tells Leina that even if he gives in to his intrusive thoughts, he can only clean the bathrooms with the main sisters, and not any of the ordinary ones. At the end of the day, he is a man of culture, and he cannot betray the essence of his existence. Leina is confused, but Rose gets it, so she takes him to another job. It's cooking, and the job is handled by Talia. This seems better for Bro because he used to take care of his older sister every single day, which means he can cook well. However, as he gets down to the task, Talia grabs his cake, so he asks her why she is doing this. She simply says that she had to grab it because it was there, but that is not really an excuse. Let this be a lesson to everyone that it happens to men too. There are actually a lot of sisters watching this shady display, so Kasaka asks Talia if it's okay for them to see such things. She states that it's only natural for them to be interested in such things, as they have never seen a man before. This is not looking good, as one of the sisters gets a little too excited, which causes a nosebleed. Rose is disappointed, so it's time to move on to the next task, which is reading to the kids. She personally handles this, but then feels that maybe she should not involve Kasaka in this. After all, it may mess with the education system, and the other sisters agree that this might be a bit too early to introduce the kids to a man. Kasaka doesn't get it, so he asks if he has done something wrong. Rose says that he may not realize it, but actually he has gotten a lot more attractive recently. His voice, scent, and even taste have gotten a lot better, and Lily agrees with her fully. Bro does not understand how the taste part came into this, but Talia is more interested to know about the guidance which involved tasting. Rose says that's not the point, and then Talia explains that our hero could be getting adapted to the power of the miracles, which is making him loaded with Rizzed. He does not know if he should be happy about that, but Talia says that he is going to become as irresistible as peak-era Megan Fox from her Transformers days. Bro cannot believe that men can also be looked at this way, but the main point here is that nobody wants a Drake situation with the kids. Lastly, there's Lily, who says she will definitely help her lover boy. She takes him to the confession room and says that this is mostly used for things like knowing the menu or making up after a fight. Lily feels that the people should know the sage is here, as perhaps a lot of them will come for consultation. Kasaka is happy to help if the other sisters are okay with him, and this could actually work, because he will not need to interact directly with the others through the confessional. The other sisters leave it to Lily and take their leave. Now, Kasaka enters the confessional, which is a bit smaller than he had expected. He asks Lily if she is okay with this, but she does not understand. He explains that with everything that happened between them, plus the talk of his extended charm, it's just the two of them cramped next to each other now. Lily blushes, so Kasaka asks her if she is fine. She says it's nothing and promises Kasaka that she will set clear boundaries this time, meaning she will not force herself on him. However, just as she says this, fate plays a cruel game by lighting up the Shady ring. To make matters worse, one of the sisters shows up and introduces herself. She then confesses that she ate the sweets her roommate cherished, which is a crime for sure, but Lily seems to be occupied with other things. She does her best to talk to this sister, who now says that she is thinking of making some sweets to apologize to her roommate. However, it seems as though finger blasters are being used on Lily's kitty. The sister says that there are 2 types of sweets that her roommate likes, but before she can proceed, she hears Lily letting out a very shady noise. The confessing sister asks Lily if she is fine, to which she says sorry, and reconfirms that they are talking about sweets. She says that she accidentally bumped her foot, but there's a completely different kind of bumping happening right now. Lily says that she should continue with the consultation and activates her stealth mode to make things a bit easier. They get through the first consultation, but it doesn't end there, as more sisters show up to confess their thoughts. They ask questions like where they should eat dinner tonight or what to get as a present for their younger sisters, and one of them even says that she is excited to be able to talk to a man. However, Lily is too busy getting some serious treatment, and she laments how she is not able to listen to anyone's problems. Kasaka is in stealth play because it would suck if they got caught right now. However, the tension of doing it with the fear of getting caught is what adds to the thrill. Everything is dragging out because of the distracting confessions, so that's a bad thing, which means that Bro will need to go full offense. He decides to lift up Lily, and he puts her in a very shady position. Kasaka knows that this is the confession chamber, so the other sisters will not be able to see what they are doing. But the idea that they might be able to see them is what will make Lily more excited. He tells her to grab onto his neck, and then the treatment continues. This is some serious skill on display, and the confessing sisters have no idea what's happening right in front of them. The finger blaster seems to be doing its thing, and with all the twitching, we eventually see Lily releasing tons of kitty water. The explosion causes the ring to stop glowing, which means that the guidance has been completed successfully. However, the confessing sister can hear the kitty water, so she asks what kind of sound that is. Lily says that she just spilled her drink, so it's no big deal. The sister accepts this, and then Kasaka asks Lily if she is fine now. He tells her that they should come back to the confession room once she has calmed down. Lily agrees, but then there is the sister who still needs her answers. Lily asks her what she wants, but this sister wants to ask our hero something. He is surprised to hear this, but allows her to continue. This sister says that the other day, she saw a real man, meaning the sage, and this caused her to feel a throbbing in her body. Both Kasaka and Lily know what she is talking about, and the sister reveals she asked her friend about it too. The friend told her that this could be her inner desires, so she will need to get rid of it, as she is supposed to be a holy sister. She does not know what to do, but Kasaka does, so he tells her that maybe she does not need to get rid of these desires. She does not understand, so our hero further elaborates that even thought this is wrong for a sister, and some people might reject it. Such feelings are important for a living being. Therefore, instead of completely denying such desires, it would be better to learn how she can deal with them. These words affect Lily as well, and the confessing sister asks if she can come for a consultation again sometime. Bro says that she is welcome here anytime, and she does not even need to use the confession room for this, although in his mind, he knows that would mean showing his face to her. The confessing sister thanks our sage boy for his wise words, and then she leaves. She was the last one on the roster today, so Kasaka is glad that they are done for the day. His big brain energy seems to have made a profound impact on Lily, because she is thinking to herself that if she does not deny her desires, then her lover boy will accept her. Feeling that everything will be all right, Lily decides to pull it to the slide and offer her kitty to our hero. Bro is confused at first, but with such an alluring sight in front of him, only a fool would say no. One look from Lily is all it takes for Kasaka to give in to the dark side, and Shady acts follow in full flow. He awakens the raging bull inside him, and this seems to be doing a lot for Lily. The back show is done, so it's time for a full frontal sequence. Both of them put their hearts and souls into this, and it can be seen from the looks on their faces. Soon enough, Lily releases even more of her kitty water, and even Kasaka lets out his elephant water. There's tons of water on the floor now, which will need some cleaning up for sure. Our hero laments that he messed up again, despite trying to help out with everything. He feels like he did something wrong today, and expresses his guilt to Lily, as we see the both of them mopping up after their shady acts. Lily cutely says that she actually had a lot of fun, but Kasaka takes responsibility because he should have better control, especially after all that has already happened between them. However, Lily says that the last confession sister who came here was probably saved by Kasaka's words of advice. He hopes that is the case, and then Lily says that she knows one more person who was saved by his advice. Kasaka does not get it, so Lily has to spell it out that she is the other person. It hits our hero that someday his tasks will come to an end, and he will need to leave this place. Having said that, he still wishes to make sure Lily can smile once that day comes. He says that he can only think about responsibilities now, so he will definitely find something that he can do. As he watches the curvy Lily clean their water, Kasaka wonders if he will be able to properly say goodbye to her if his heart continues getting shaken this way. Anyway, he tells Lily it would be best to finish cleaning this room and rejoin everyone. Of course, when they do meet the other sisters, they get teased by Talia for using the cleaning tools in the confessional. Now, we move to another character who places a stone of guidance to a distant star, far away. They pray to the goddess of the waning moon, hoping that their letter of thanks reaches her. We can then see Sister Leina staring at one such poster with a lot of curiosity. She goes to the curvy goddess and tells her about a letter her family writes. Basically, it is to another goddess, as there is another festival that is used to honor her. During the pre-festival, they float the letters on the sea, and the goddess in question is indeed the one of the waning moon. Leina believes these letters might even reach the families of sages, but Kasaka finds that highly doubtful. The goddess reveals that this ritual has the ability to connect distant worlds, as the goddess of the waning moon is the one who protects this island from the outside world. She's also the one who summoned Kasaka here in the first place. Of course, the curvy goddess didn't know if this other goddess would answer Kasaka's wish, but there is a possibility of it happening. Leina knows that the sage boy has a family as well, and she understands very well what it is like to grow up without one. Bro says that it is at least worth a try even if it's a long shot, and he thanks Leina for her efforts. However, he is not sure about the letter because he doesn't really write to his family. Leina asks who he will write to, and he says it will be his sister. The holy babe says that if Kasaka is struggling, then he should just write about what he's doing here. He feels it's a good idea, and Leina gives him an example by saying he should mention he's in another world now, where he is doing all kinds of unspeakable things to nun babes. That's pretty insane, and while it's true, Bro can't say this to his sister. Leina says that these are important trials that he should be doing, but his sister is not going to believe such a reason. Kasaka can't say the exact truth, so he figures it would be better to say that he is facing trials by the goddess every single day. Leina asks what kind of person Kasaka's sister is, and then we see how difficult it is for him to live with her. She's quite untidy, but Leina considers her to be like a little baby. Kasaka admits that his sister is like a mentor to him, and he owes her a lot, although she does lack basic living skills. Leina says that she too is a sister, and not just the unholy kind. So Bro asks about her. She happily talks about how her sister likes to feed her again and again, but then we see that she likes to suck on fingers and thumbs while she sleeps, and she likes to be hugged as well. These are cute things, but at the end of the day, Leina is also like a baby. She gets nervous and says that she is a reliable person, but she also figures that if they continue talking like this, the guidance will sound like a joke to Kasaka's sister. Suddenly, the Shady ring lights up again, and Leina says that Bro can leave it to her. He asks if she is sure about this one because it looks pretty tough to him. Leina confidently says that he can trust her because she is a reliable sister. It turns out that the guidance this time is tickling, which is a bit odd, considering the kinds of things they have had to do before. Leina feels the same way, but she gets ready for Kasaka while asking what tickling has to do with Shady guidance. He simply begins without warning, and he goes for her feet, just like Quentin Tarantino. Leina laughs a lot, which means that her soft skin is quite sensitive to tickling. Kasaka worries that this might be a bit extra for her, but she maintains that it will be fine because she is a reliable sister. Our hero notices that Leina is saying the same thing a lot, but he also figures that plain tickling is not going to do the trick here. He decides to go for the Twin Peaks and the kitty, which does a lot more to her than make her laugh. It's an incredible sight to Kasaka, but at the same time, this is not going to work for him. Even the sensitive areas have the same kind of reaction, so he is going to need more than 2 arms to get the job done. He will need to add some stimulation to make tickling and pleasure come together. It's pretty much like the time when he had to go for Leina's pillows, but he might as well try out his new powers. He remembers about how he could manipulate his hand's shape, and feels he can do the same to the size and the volume too. If he does not have enough hands by himself, he will just make more of them, and that's exactly what we see. It's almost like a monster is being formed in front of Leina, so it is natural for her to be a bit shocked. On that note, Leina is grabbed by all the arms, and she gets tickled at multiple areas, which ends up working in our hero's favor. She can clearly feel the sensations a bit too well now. She naturally panicked upon this sight at first, but Bro says he does not have enough natural arms to get the job done. This is why he's made more of them, and there's no cause for concern, because these extra hands are made of viscous substances. It will not hurt, even if he is rough, but Leina backs away. She says that even if this does not hurt, it is still quite scary, and Kasaka agrees. By giving her the tickling and the enjoyment, he can make her understand that tickling can be a lot of fun. The shady acts continue for a while, and things get out of hand for a while. Now that Kasaka has more arms, he can do a lot more, but the main fun is still missing. Of course, he too had grown into a more refined man of culture, thanks to all the guidance, so he pulls Leina's garment to the side, and brings out his own tongue twister 9000. One lick is all it takes for Leina to panic, so she looks back at Kasaka to see what he's doing. Bro goes on to explain the art of the tongue twister, because he has already done this with Sister Lily before. Leina thinks it's dirty, but at Comic Guzzlers we rarely judge such acts. Now, Bro tells us that Lily smelled faintly of flowers, but Leina seems to smell a little milky. Either way, that does not stop him from going beast mode, and the unholy sister really gets into it. With the tickling also continuing, Leina says that while it may be embarrassing for her, she does seem to like the sensation. This goes on for a while, and finally, she has reached her limit. She can't take it any longer, so Kasaka figures it's time to go for the finisher move. He refrains from any kind of shady contact and only focuses on tickling, which makes Leina now associate fun with the act. All of a sudden, even the act of tickling is making her feel the same as how she was feeling earlier with the tongue twister. It does not make sense to her at all, but anyway, she goes on to have a massive... Kasaka stops now, and Leina needs a few seconds to regain her composure. Later, we can see that Leina is a bit annoyed, so our hero asks if she is fine. She says that she still feels ticklish and itchy, probably because one explosion was not enough for her. Kasaka apologizes for it, but he should be proud of himself for making this happen via tickling. Anyway, the two of them now reach a spot from where the moon is nicely visible. There are other people gathered here, and Kasaka feels that the moon is so big it almost seems fake. Now, Leina picks up a bottle and a glowing stone, which is actually called a guide stone. This helps the goddess of the waning moon find the letter even in the ocean at night. She is also referred to as the crescent moon goddess, and all of a sudden, the shop owner asks if Kasaka is also interested in her. He says somewhat yes, and the shop owner repeats that the goddess protects everyone but is alone on the moon, waiting for a new baby. All of this is conjecture though, so there is no actual way to know for real. No one has ever met her, but anyway, Leina says she is ready. The couple puts the letter in the bottle, and even Leina has written a letter for Kasaka, but she wonders if his older sister will be able to read the language. He is not sure, but it does make the whole thing seem more legit. They put the bottle in the ocean and watch it drift away, while Leina says a prayer. She really wants this letter to reach Kasaka's sister, which makes him think about how the people of this world always think about others. It's incredible and makes him feel a bit shy too. On that note, he decides to pray as well, hoping it will be rewarded. Now, we can see some other sisters showing up, and they refer to Leina as if she is their junior. One of them hugs her, saying she is very small and soft, but her actions make the holy sister give out an unholy sound. This shocks the other sisters, but to Kasaka, it is just another one of the after effects of their session. The sisters ask what that voice was, but then they see Leina curling up into a ball. They ask what's wrong, but our hero knows this is out of embarrassment, and Leina doesn't even move for a while. Now, we see Talia looking out the window, and another woman comes in, referring to her as a miracle child. Talia says it's fine because it's always been the same for her. After all, it's the perfect day for a festival. Now, we see a whole choir of girls singing together, and among them are Lily, Rose, and Leina. Lily is singing particularly well, as she offers prayers to the goddess of the waning moon, and Kasaka tells us that in 5 days from today, the Crescent Moon Festival will begin. He goes to his harem babes and tells them that it's the first time he's had a hymn. It was amazing, and the girls thank him for his words. He doesn't know where to look at Lily though, because her outfit is straight out of cosplay paradise. Kasaka asks if the girls are fine wearing this, but Rose tells him that it's traditional attire, so he should get used to it. Bro thinks this is ridiculous, but Rose says that after this, she will be in charge of guiding the sage, which would be a big help to him. This place is quite similar to his world, so Rose says that the culture has been passed down by the former sage. This explains things like the nature of Talia's lower garments. Now that Bro thinks about it, Talia is not here, but then he bumps into a respectable set of pillows. It's one of the Amazon girls who says sorry to the sage for not watching where she was going. She has a 10-on-10 body, and it turns out that she is on patrol duty. Kasaka comments that everyone is dressed quite lightly, but it could be because the main venue is by the beach. Lily tells him not to mind, as it's time to go and have some fun. What follows is a day of largely innocent fun, which is hard to come by on comic guzzlers. Even the Amazon girls are having fun with Kasaka, and the Lily shows him some neat items. Rose is busy drinking soft beverages by herself while other babes hit on Bro while wasted. Either way, it looks like a lot of joy is in the air, and since everyone wants to talk to Kasaka, he gets tired rather quickly. He asks the girls to take a break and eat something, but Leina has been eating snacks this whole time. Bro is not complaining because he likes to watch her eat cutely. However, he gets back to his earlier question of Talia being missing. The girls don't respond at first, so he asks what's wrong. Rose reveals that Talia can't come here, and the curvy goddess will be able to give him further details. We learn that the goddess of the waning moon was once welcomed at a tower closest to the sky. During the 5-day festival, the most outstanding girls ascend the tower, and other people of the city are not allowed to approach it. The curvy goddess says there's nothing extraordinary about this ritual, but also reveals that Talia has been doing this every year since she was 3 years old. It's her duty to climb the tower, But this is a shocker to our hero. Basically, when Talia was born, flowers bloomed all over the city, so she was given the name the Miracle Child. This was supposed to be a rotating role, but Talia's talents were too great. Kasaka is quiet, because he doesn't have anything to say to this. After all, if people like Lily don't oppose it, then everyone must have already come to terms with it. Even so, he thinks this is very restrictive to Talia, but decides to leave a floating wind chime here as a souvenir for the curvy goddess. He then confirms with her that even if people from the city are not allowed, outsiders like him don't need to follow the rules. Now, we move to the tower where Talia is standing all by herself. She looks bored, and then all of a sudden, she can smell some food. That's strange. But then, she sees some gooey substance that springs out of nowhere. Talia panics at first, but then she sees that it's Kasaka with his hand powers. He's brought some food with him, and he says that he has come to hang out with her. Before we move ahead, we see a brief flashback to one of Talia's experiences on the tower. She had wished to break free from this miracle child tag, because this boring life suffocated her, and all this expectation weighed down on her. Back to the present. As she sees Kasaka under the moonlight, her heart flutters a little. Kasaka hilariously falls to the ground, so Talia can see that he's a bit exhausted. He reveals that it was all fine when he was climbing up in a rush, but when he looked down, he panicked. He's just relieved to have solid ground underneath him now. In any case, he's fine now, so he tells Talia they should have a meal together. She is amazed to see what food there is from the festival stalls, because it's so fresh. Kasaka is surprised that Talia has never even tried it before, but she says that the crescent moon job she has usually keeps her busy. She tries to smile and mask her emotions, but Kasaka sees through her and asks if she ever gets tired of it. Talia instantly states that she hates it, so Kasaka asks her to say it to the others. However, the Holy Sister reveals that everyone from her family and friends would ask her the same thing. If they were annoying about it, then she would have easily thrown all of this away, but she does not want to betray their warmth. She plays stupid pranks to vent her frustrations, but she can't say the truth because she feels she is a coward who is pathetic and unpleasant. Kasaka doesn't get this, because she is still working hard for those who care about her. However, now that the miracle child has exposed her true feelings to him, she can't act high and mighty in front of him anymore. Kasaka tells her to take a break, and she figures she can be a little selfish. The thing is that she actually wants to spend this break on a game of elephants and kitties. That's a bit out of pocket, but then Kasaka takes a look at the face she makes at him. She says that she couldn't decide by herself, but she does want to be a naughty girl with him. Bro can't control his intrusive thoughts anymore, and it looks like he's about to cry. He agrees with Talia and picks her up, much to her surprise. She thought he would say no, which is what he too had imagined, but his ideals are romantic and full of love. Due to this, his emotions have been messed up off late. At the end of the day, he feels that he is a rascal, so he is going to have his way with Talia. She calls him a liar, but he says he's telling her the truth. He confesses that Talia is so attractive that he can't refuse her. He says he wants to give her a night visit, but she does not know what that means. Even so, she can make an exception for our hero, so it's time to get down to business. She decides to get into some transparent attire, which enhances her curvy body. Kasaka begins with the proceedings, but Talia tells him there's no need for any preparations. He tells her that this could hurt, given it's her first time, but she says that's fine. The unholy sister believes this is what bad girls deserve, so pain is good for her. Kasaka is not going to hold back any longer, so he makes his entrance and proceeds with unspeakable acts. Talia is really liking it, so our hero says this is enough pain for her. He brings out the shady slime and enhances the experience for her, which is quite visible on her face. Talia asks why Kasaka is doing this, so he explains that he does not want it to just hurt her. This really gets her worked up, and she calls him a fool for being so considerate. The session continues for a while, and Talia clearly looks like she is having the time of her life. She has an explosion, so Kasaka takes a break, but she tells him she wants more. He says that he can't keep going like this without unleashing his own elephant water, but she tells him to do his best, as she will also do her best. She says she wants to do this until the stars on the ground go out, so we have an intense session ahead. It's morning now, but that doesn't mean the shady acts have stopped at all. Kasaka has unleashed his raging bull, and Talia is on the receiving end. It's time to go for the cake's entrance, but Talia says that will only make her go crazier. That's all our hero needed to hear, as he goes ballistic with the forbidden zone. Talia scolds him for it, but she also loves what he is doing to her. It's pretty hardcore, but she manages an explosion from the cake as well. With that, the session finally comes to an end, and the both of them decide to take a breather. Kasaka can't believe it's morning already, but Talia calls him an absolute animal. Our boy is 2 for 2 now, with only Rose and Leina left on the list. He and Talia have some breakfast to regain their energy, and the unholy sister says that her whole body hurts. Her hips hurt too, because even Shakira would have been proud of last night and this morning. She asks how Kasaka is feeling, but he is a Giga Chad Pro Max, so he has gotten used to it. Talia says it is because of his experience, but then Kasaka tells her to stop punishing herself like yesterday. He knows she might think he's being invasive, but he does not want to see her hurt herself. He adds that if Talia can't take it anymore, then she should come to him and cry or even throw a tantrum. He wants her to drag him into it, even if it's just a prank. At least that way he can stand by her side, and they can face it together. Talia takes a moment, but eventually agrees with him. However, she tells him to come every night out of these 5 nights. After all, Kasaka did say he would do anything for her, so it looks like Talia is already throwing a tantrum. Of course, she does not need him to bring out his freaky side every night, because she won't be able to handle that. He agrees and says that even something like dinner would be all right. He feels a bit guilty about the whole thing because he also has Lily to think about. Talia can sense this, and she knows it's about the curvy sister. She tells Kasaka it's fine because it was just Shady guidance, but he can't accept such things so easily. Talia says that they have their own ideas about purity, so it's no big deal. It's just that she feels the both of them are special, but she can understand why he's worried. It's nice to see her sincerity, and she does one better by offering a healing charm to help Kasaka's stomach. She then says that she will see the sage boy tonight, but then reframes her words to refer to him by his first name, thus officially turning herself into his second harem babe. He agrees to see her later, but feels some affection too. After this secret rendezvous that can't be revealed to the others, the festival comes to an end. Talia comes back to the other sisters, and she is quite cheerful. Rose notices that she is a lot more energetic than usual, but she plays it off by saying the stars above the night felt closer than usual. She also says that there's something new she wants to tell the others. She reveals that she wants to become our hero's lover, which naturally comes as a surprise to them all. Rose can't believe what she is hearing, because this is thirsty behavior. She also wants to know what happened between Talia and Kasaka, so she asks Talia if she has fallen in love with him. Talia doesn't really get her own feelings yet, which alarms Rose. Having said that, she believes being in love is a lot of fun. Leina is quite surprised, and so is Lily because she has a whole other equation with Kasaka. Rose states that a sister should not psych them out like this, but Talia reminds her of her favorite love story where the princess gets rescued. That has happened with her, and it has made her quite happy. The sisters didn't quite hear this, but Talia plays it off, because she can't expose the truth just yet. She says they should all get back to work, and then we move to the curvy goddess of the 4 flowers. She tells us that after Lily, it is Talia now who has made her vow. She has never had such an experience before, even as a normal sister, so she wonders what kind of feelings Talia must be having right now. Also, she states that this is something that remains unchanged, regardless of the era. In the end, she just hopes the Holy Sisters will be happy, no matter what the future may hold in store for them. What exactly is the curvy goddess talking about? Is there something we don't know yet about this ritual or guidance? How does the goddess of the waning moon come into all this? I'd love to talk about these things some more, but sadly, we have come to the end of today's video. Like, share, and subscribe if Kasaka fits into your man of culture vibes just right. Who is your favorite unholy sister? Is it Lily, Rose, Talia, or Leina? From the looks of it, we could have more babes joining in soon. There's a lot left to this story, so make sure you show some love to this video, so that I have the motivation to attach a few more chapters to it. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.